Hello, darling. Oh, darling. How are you, darling? I do want to thank you all for being here tonight. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, darling. And I don't take that for granted, darling. Come on in, don't be shy. Hit the like button on the way in, would you? On your way in, tell me the temperature where you are right now. When you come in the chat, tell us where you're located and what the temperature is where you are. I am curious to know. It is 10 degrees here in Atlanta. 10 degrees. Okay. The Florida girl in me is shook. Okay. I don't know what to do with this. I don't know what to do. I'm freaking out. Like, somebody help me. Okay. It's 10 degrees over here. So there has been a guilty verdict for Tiny Tory Lanez. Okay. And I am glad. And that is the good part to this. That's the good news. The bad news is, once again, Black women dodge accountability and dodge accountability at the expense of Black men. All right. Now, I can tell from a lot of these comments about this situation that a lot of you all have gotten very lucky in your lives where you've never been in a situation where a firearm was pulled in your presence. Okay. Now, if you own a firearm, if you know anything about firearms, the first rule to a firearm is if you're going to pull it, you need to use it. A firearm is not something that you pull to look cool or to send an empty threat or because your ego gets damaged. When you pull a firearm, it is extremely serious. Firearm pulled equals the desire of deletion, period. Okay. I have been in that situation twice where I have had a gun pulled on me. And I've been in a situation before where other people are arguing and end up pulling a firearm and discharging it when you're in the vicinity. Okay. Now, if it's two people that are beefing amongst one another and they decide to take it to certain levels amongst themselves, I can't control that. The problem I have, there is nothing worse than innocent bystanders getting hit with things that are meant for two people in a conflict. You know, nothing is worse than that. That means that this person is minding their own business and somehow face the consequence of your drama and your beef. Every time you discharge a weapon, whether you're pointing it up, down, east, west, it doesn't matter. It has the potential to land somewhere. And if that somewhere happens to be in another human, we know what comes with that. Them things can go through walls, go through windows. You could be sitting in your bedroom typing on your laptop and something come through your window. Those bullets do not stop until they hit something. Okay. So it's a very serious thing when someone pulls one of those out or dish. I immediately take that as you did not care if anybody around you passed away. Okay. This is one of those situations where I see people trying to pull the system card and the white man card. This is not one of those situations where that is the root of this issue. None of this had to be happening right now. None of this. If we're in a drunken, a sick, drunken love triangle, let it be that. Whatever niggas do nigga shit, like taking it to the level of pulling out a gun, lock them up. End of story. Now, there's different theories and opinions about this. I'm going to go off of what I saw the eyewitness that was sworn in under risk of perjury said. I mean, that's what I'm going to go off of. I'm going to go off of my intuition. I'm going to go off of eyewitness statements. I'm going to go off of the guilty verdict. And I'm going to say, we're going to focus on one thing at a time, that Tory discharged that weapon. Now, some people are saying he discharged the weapon because he felt like Kelsey was going to, discharge the weapon towards Megan. I just want you guys to know that nowhere in the art of disarming a weapon from someone do they tell you, yeah, go ahead and empty the clip. Okay. That's not a tactic of disarming a weapon from someone, especially a man to a woman, if that theory is true. Yet and still, that's not how you disarm a weapon from someone. Okay. So that's what the story that he's trying to sell is, something about the police, the dash cam, body cam, whatever it is. It was something like Kelsey grabbed the firearm and Tory tried to take it from her. And so he emptied the clip in order to save the women. Even though there are real text messages in black and white where Kelsey is saying Tory shot Meg, and Tory is like, I'm sorry, but it's all adding up to me. All right. Most of the time when you're at a party and there's that one stupid drunk nigger that sits there and pulls a weapon out on some stupid drunk shit, they normally never go to jail for it. If you are a survivor of being out in public somewhere where someone decided to discharge a weapon and disregard the lives of everybody in the building, okay, then you know. I mean, I don't understand. Like, I think that a lot of people are focused on, well, Kelsey didn't receive, her consequence. But I'm gonna tell y'all something right now. This is the other, what? Turn off. This is the other aspect of, stupid, drunken niggerdom, is they normally don't face a consequence. In this situation, I'm like, at least someone face a consequence so that people can start to see. You cannot get drunk and be in a frizzy and in a tizzy and discharge a weapon on some, oh, my bad, and explaining why you did it. There is no matter of why. Did someone discharge a weapon towards you first? That's the only way I can see it. Okay. Pulling out a weapon is if someone pulled one on you first. Like, it doesn't matter. So most of the time they get away with this. So I'm happy to see a situation where this does go down and someone face a consequence. If you've been in one of these situations before, you are so pissed off. Like, once the bullets are done flying and the person who is fighting, they're just going back to arguing with each other, and you're standing there like ducking and running for your life. Like, yo, okay, if it was my child there at that party, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care who slept with who argued with who lied, who told the truth. What I would want to know is who discharged the weapon, how many times, whatever it is, they need to go to jail. It's all fun and games when it's people you don't like there, like Megan Thee Stallion. We've talked 100 times about her problems. Okay, let's go ahead and focus on what matters here, which is life or death. And had it been your child at that party, y'all would not have cared who slept with who had a bad reputation, who lied. All you would care about is who the hell discharged a weapon in the presence of my kid. Because you could have hit my child and my child would have been dead. So if your child goes and they pass away, are you going to sit and be like, no, the system trying to take this black man down? You see, he was trying to protect her when you would not want to hear that shit. All you'd want to hear is, this is the person that pulled the trigger, that initiated a bullet that murdered your child. That's it. But because it's someone, we got to be very careful with that. we can have two things be true at once, and we can compartmentalize. We can understand that, yes, does the system, is the system used against us? Is it wired against us? Yes. Are we able to separate individuals from representing us as a whole and saying, yes, the system does this, but these people committed something that could have literally ended the lives of anybody present. So it's okay to say, yes, they do deserve to be found guilty. Now, a whole nother story will be on what Tory's sentencing will be. This is the gray area of it all. In a way, you feel relieved, like, okay, he's found guilty, he's going to face a consequence. But then we have to also say, oh, Lord, now here go, that's great. But then here go the second part is it'll probably be an unfair sentence. Okay. But at the end of the day, I would rather it be that way than to have someone discharge a firearm and just get off as not guilty. Okay. I'm about to drop the link. Everybody is free to come up, state their opinion. There's not a right or wrong answer here. Everybody is free to come up, state your opinion. If you disagree with what I'm saying, if you have a different point of view, I'm about to put this in the chat. Put my glasses on. We're going to talk about all aspects of this. Are we going to talk about the part that Meg played in this? Are we going to talk about the accountability that was not given to the Black women in this? Absolutely. Okay. I truly think that Kelsey got the immunity because immunity normally is a, first come, first serve basis. I think that if Tory would have not have been so dead set on saying that he wasn't guilty, he could have gotten there and been like, okay, the truth is I did pull the trigger. This is the reason why I pulled it, XYZ, but I did pull the trigger. What can we do? And pled a deal. But he was so dead set on saying that he's not guilty at all and had absolutely nothing to do with it, that I think that's why she got the immunity. She probably went first and was like, hey, hey, we both touched the weapon. What can you do for me? Tory was just, again, that ego. I mean, we're not going to sit here and say that Tory Lanez not extremely egotistical. I mean, we've seen situations outside of that where he be flying off the hinges. So a lot of y'all confuse me. A lot of you men be talking about how important it is for men to keep their composure and to not get emotional and to not respond. But then when there's a Negro who did just that, he reacting just like the women reacting. If you do all the crying, what the baby gonna do? Okay, so he reacting just like that. Now all of a sudden niggas are saying he don't deserve to be held accountable for that. Now all of a sudden niggas talking about the white man, the system. What the hell? I also get very offended when people call the police in my presence. Like if you do something dumb where now we got to call the police, oh shit. Because every time the police get called, you risk all of us getting messed up. Every time somebody get drunk, do something stupid, a fight break out, now, before you know it, we all gonna end up being on trial. Every time Black folks, especially a big group of drunk Black people calling the police, more times we all gonna end up being investigated. Like, what part did we have to play in it? Like, every time y'all invite them folk in our business, it's a risk to everybody. Okay. Let me see. That neighbor was under oath. He said he saw the little man shoot the gun. Everybody is saying, well, that statement was different than his initial statement. He probably thought that Tory was so little, probably didn't know that was a dude. So he probably was like, it was two women. Then probably realized, oh no, it was just a leprechaun of a male. Y'all keep saying he changed his statement. That's how it normally goes. The statement that people give in front of police and the statement that they give on that stand normally do be different. Because on that stand, it's not no maybes or this, that, and the third. No. It's you better tell the truth or else you're under perjury. You can get locked up too. How do I pin this? Okay. So I just pinned the link. Y'all can come up. If you have something you want to say or you disagree, you agree, like come up, let me know. Do y'all like my hair? Okay. Oh, please. You getting blocked for that. So anyway, I don't know if y'all are new here, but on this channel, everybody can get it. This is not no channel where it's always black women right and it's always black men right. It's if you right, you right, you wrong, period. Okay, so don't come here if you're just expecting somebody to just sit and agree with you because of your sex. It ain't how this works here. Eugene, thank you so much for the super chat. Eugene says, if two girls were fighting, I would have just gotten myself between them to break it up, and a gun would not have been. That's why I'm saying, like, this is Tory. You could tell by the way the story was told. Is the reality is we all know they were arguing. So it looks like them girls arguing. Tory is fueling the fight. Okay. Like Eugene said, the man present should be getting this situation dissipated before it can escalate. So Tory sits there in the middle of it, talk about they fighting over me because I got good peen. He lets it continue to amp up, then lets it amp up to the place where, let's go with the story that Kelsey decides to go in the car and go get a weapon. Let's say that she did. Okay. I feel like if Meg was winning in the fight against Kelsey, she would have said that, but it seemed like Meg was trying to be real quiet about that. So to me, if Kelsey was whooping Meg and she was winning, so y'all saying she stopped fighting Megan to go get the firearm to discharge it. I mean, in most crimes, whoever go ask for the deal first gonna get it. So even if Kelsey did, that's the way the game go. Okay, they already in all systems are looking to have the woman dodge accountability. So then on top of that, if Kelsey was the first one to go to them folks and be like, let's go ahead and cut the deal, then what? So in 1 minute we say men need to be in control of their emotions, but then we're saying that Tory deserves no consequence for amping up this fight, instigating this fight, adding fuel to the fire, letting it escalate to the point where now there's a firearm. We're not going to hold him accountable. If we're going with this weird story, we're not going to hold him accountable that he decided that the way he would disarm a weapon from a woman would be by emptying the clip. Okay, I mean, if you truly feel like that, then, like I said, there ain't no right or wrong answer here, but hey, that don't make no sense to me. If you have survived a situation like this, trust me, you feel totally different. I've been through it before, baby. When I went through it, ask me, did I care about who shot how many times? What was the reason? Why? Ask me. And a lot of those times you do have eyewitnesses that say, hey, we saw this, and that person still don't end up going to jail. Okay. So the neighbor, once they're under oath, they're saying, okay, I seen two people that I could see how they easily could not realize that Tory was a grown man because he is literally a leprechaun. We're going to act like Napoleon complex is not a real thing. We're not going to act like Tory has not consistently proven through his behavior that he definitely has that syndrome. We're going to think that it's totally not plausible for the guy with little man syndrome to be the one to want to empty a clip out. Come on now. Now here go to amnesia. Each side has to be held accountable at whatever point. All right. I don't get this weird stuff. You got some black women. It don't matter what the black woman do. She'll sit there and say she's not accountable. Then you have some black men, no matter what the black man do, you'll try to say the black man in the situation is not accountable. That's weird to me. We don't get any progress like that. Oh, I didn't even see. Thank you so much for the super chat, Danica. My good sis, Danica says, girl, it's cold AF, 6 degrees with a wind chill advisory. Ooh, sis. Oh, no, honey. I know you in St. Louis, baby. I know you cold, child. That's why I'm normally never live on a Friday night. Normally on Friday nights, I'm out doing something. But, baby, how cold it is out there, I was like, it's going to be an in-the-house night for me. Thank you so much for the super chat. Brittany says, thank you for this discussion. I'm still over here recovering from Sunday night, but I am so here for this conversation. You still in recovery? I am so weak. You got to get some Gatorade, sis. You get some Pedialyte. Take some of the baby Pedialyte. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and link it up there if whoever wants to come up. Hi, how you doing this evening? Hello? It just say Law. Is your name Law?
My last name is Lawrence.
Are you muted?
I don't. Am I muted? Hello?
Okay, hold on. Can y'all hear? Is it my computer?
Yeah, I can. Can they hear me? Am I fine? Hello? Can you hear me just fine?
Yeah.
Do you want me to drop down and come back?
Why I can't hear him? Hold on 1 second. What the heck? Y'all can hear him? Why I can't hear him? Okay, what's wrong here? Is it because of my microphone? It might be because of, let me see. I got a new laptop, y'all, and I'm not really sure. Okay, can you speak now?
Hello?
Okay, it was my microphone. Can y'all hear me? Are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can hear you just fine, sir.
Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, so I'll just unplug that for now. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing fine. And to answer your question, my last name is Lawrence, but people just call me Law for short.
Oh, okay, I got you. Where are you located?
I am located in Florida.
Oh, what part of Florida?
Well, I think you're from Orlando. I'm from Tallahassee. I'm a country boy.
Oh, 850.
Yes, ma'am. All day.
All right.
Rattlers, baby. FAMU.
Period.
My whole family. I have a whole bloodline of Rattlers, so my whole family's family.
You know the McQueen family?
Yes, I do. Yes, ma'am.
You know Brian McQueen?
No, ma'am. I don't know him. I know of him, but I do not know him personally.
That used to be my best friend's father.
Do you know who Soul Train is?
Uh-uh.
He was the main mascot of the FAMU alumni back then. He used to he used to be an older gentleman that used to do snacks. He was a part of the band choir. So, my mother, everybody, my mother's a pharmacist and stuff like that. So I have a whole heritage line through that. She's AKA, you name it. You know, I got Q dogs in the family. I got enough family involved in Tallahassee to span 3 generations.
I love that though. People
Yeah.
sleep on people from Florida. They be saying we all crazy and we all messed up. I'm like, man, it's good people from Florida. They be sleep on us though.
Well, I mean, the further south you go, the crazier it gets.
Come on now, stay on code now.
I said, look, I'm from the capital. I'm from the capital. I don't claim those people. I'm from Spring Hill Road. Ain't nothing but trees and cows there.
I can't. So tell me, Mr. Lawrence, so what's your thoughts on the Megan and Tory verdict?
Well, me personally, after looking at all the evidence, I did see why it was a possible verdict for it to be unreasonable doubt, but I also saw a possible verdict for why he could be guilty. Now, I did not think he could be guilty of altered counts. I thought maybe possession at most, but at the end of the day, you know, my main concern isn't necessarily whether or not he's guilty or not. You know, I talked to a lot of lawyers, I talked to a lot of other deliberators, I talked to a lot of, you know, black men that I respect that are my mentors, and they're like, look, you're doing this shit all wrong, buddy. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? They say, well, I'm not worried about the case. I'm worried about the fact that we're fucked regardless. And I said, well, why? I said, well, you have to think about the social dynamic of how this is going to affect black men and black women. They say it doesn't matter what the verdict is, whether he's guilty or innocent. This will drive a huge greater divide between our black women and our black men. And, you know, because at this point, it's no longer about protect all black women or protect all black men. Whichever the verdict goes, it's going to be one or the other. So, you know, they said stop thinking about just the antithesis of the trial and think about how this affects us as a people, because now this transcends Tory as a person. This affects all of us as men and as women, because it'll always be a what if, because we never got a conclusive, we have no definitive conclusive proof on whether or not he 100% definitively shot her, but we also can't say he's definitively 100% innocent. That frame of never being 100% on either direction makes it just that much more divisive. And so once I kind of took in that information, it made me realize that, I care more for my Black woman and I care more for my Black men. In this situation, I feel like we'll just drive a bigger wedge between us. And at the end of the day, it's all about protecting our Black women and ensuring that we're there for our Black men, so that way we can cultivate each other up and become better. Because I'm all about community. And if my Black woman doesn't trust me, I can't make a community with her. And if my Black man feels accused all the time, well, he won't make a community with her. So it's going to be a very, very, very tough time, I think, for the next couple of years before we start reestablishing that trust again. It seems like every time we make one step forward, we seem to always somehow or another make 3 steps back, and that's just how I look at it so far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I love the way you articulated that. Now, my thoughts on that are, why must we internalize this so much? Every day, Black men and women are having sex and getting pregnant and making babies outside of wedlock and creating more broken homes. We're doing that on our own. Why can't it be that this incident can be just that, like that one incident? You have white men who will kill their wife and all their children and put them in an oil well, and the white community doesn't say, oh, this is really going to make a divide in between, white man and woman, because it's like, no, that individual did that action to people around them. That should not have an effect on the entire race. So I would say in this situation, are we going to sit here and let Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez put a divide between us? I think that when it comes to niggas pulling out guns on some dumb stuff, that's something that affects Black men and women. It's going to, yes. When Black men are in a group together, we already know there's 9 times out of 10, there's a risk that you see niggas arguing to get the hell out of there. Because we all know there's a high chance somebody going to pull some out and start shooting in front of everyone. This is a very serious problem that can affect anybody, anywhere. People can start arguing in the grocery store or at the club. It doesn't matter. So to me, are we able to say people pulling out guns on some stupid stuff is affecting Black man, woman, and children? Why can't we change our perspective, not give it that much power, not internalize it so much, and instead use it to unite us by everybody turning on the individual dumb niggers that pull these guns and put everyone's lives at risk? Sometimes it's about the perception. We can let this divide us, or we can make it say, this is a good situation to go ahead and start being an example to when niggas come pull out these guns in these public settings, that yes, you're going to have a consequence. So I feel like the way that we look at it can affect it. I think that what I'm saying is relevant, and also what you're saying is relevant. I think it's a matter of taking our power back and us deciding how we're going to let this affect us. To me, it brings us closer together. To me and you should be sitting next to each other looking at them like, these dumb niggas. She was dead wrong. He was dead wrong. No pun intended.
Well,
at the end of the day, it doesn't constitute discharging a firearm and putting people at risk. Like, once it gets to that level, that becomes the number one issue in a situation.
Well, to answer your question, the very first thing that we have to do as I feel as a Black man is, first things first, we need to stop signing our rights and our ownership of our image to other people that do not have a respect for us as a people. We are very quick to sign $1 million deal and have, from Balenciaga to Gucci to the NBA, NFL, media outlets, whatever, Zeus Network, you name it, for a couple of dollars, and they have complete and total control over our image. They love to perpetuate the negatives of who we are as a people, none of the positives. Every other nation of people have full control and autonomy of who they are as a people, who they are as a brand, who they are as a business, and who they are as a culture. We're the only people in the world that have no full autonomy as to who it is that we are, what it is that we want to represent. That in of itself becomes its own problem in of itself, because essentially we give up our image for profit. If we never did that, for instance, a good example, I don't buy designer brands. I only support small Black businesses. As a matter of fact, I think that because of that in of itself, people have a problem with me because I do not invest in the designer brands. As a matter of fact, I receive more negative feedback just from doing that, as opposed to, like, right now I have a small partnership with a small company called Lalos. They're a small clothing brand down here in Florida, and I've been investing in them slowly over time, and I hope to release them by early 2024 after this 2023 buildup is done. So that in of itself plays a big role in who we are as a people, is that we're for sale. We are for sale no matter where it is that we go. And then they feed their families, they feed their communities off of our blood, our misgivings, our misfortunes. The number one selling product is dysfunction in our community. You name a TV show, you name a brand, you name a.
Hey, thank you. Just give me 1 second. I want to get some more people's thoughts here. Come back to you. Just give me a second. Lex, it showed you in here twice. Lex, are you in here?
Hey, 06, you can hear me?
Yeah, I don't know why it showed you in here twice. How you doing?
Yo, I am great. What's up with you? Yo, you everything great?
Everything great, man. Where are you calling from?
I'm from New York, but I'm definitely a Yachty man, isn't it?
You in New York right now?
Yeah.
What's the temperature where you at?
I don't know, like 15.
Woo. How is colder where I am than where you at? It gotta be colder than that.
Nah, I mean, honestly, the heat is good on this side, so you know we chilling. The blanket is thick, the wool is real, right? So we ain't
it's
really
10 degrees here.
Yeah,
So you
like
got you have something you want to add on the subject?
Yeah, I got a few things I want.
Oh shit, what just happened? You might have to go out and come back in, because I don't know why it's showing you twice.
Doing that no more. Oh, now it is.
Okay, what? Hold on. Okay, are you able to talk?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was saying, like, I think, like, this situation, it's like lust, ego, and thottery, because and a lot of it is from Meg, because she left. They left the party. She told Kylie Jenner that she thought she was a lame, but she in her crib making beef tacos and drinking 6 bottles of Henny. She off the hen dog, talking to Shorty crazy, and she left the house. Then she went back for the Louis slippers. Hold up. Why she had to go back? She one of the biggest artists in the world. Leave the Louis slippers at the crib. She went back to the house, took the nigga Tory out the pool, said some crazy shit to him, and then off that, it branches out into this situation. But if she would have kept driving, going on her way home, and because it's a lot of it is her ego. It's he with Kylie Jenner, but if you listen to the lyrics of the song, the diss track that she put out to Kelsey, she was like, they were only got invited to the party because of her. So when she's in the car with Kelsey, she feels like she got finessed because Tory clapped her and her friend, and now he's at the party and he's about to, and he getting jiggy with Kylie. So like her ego plus her being lit, all of these things created a concoction for a confusing night. And now what I'm saying is I'm looking at who benefits from this. Like the mainstream media, they're obviously gonna have a field day with this, but they already parlayed it that way. Now, if Tory would have won, who would have made more money? You get what I'm saying? Like who would have?
Well, you don't feel like it's a win for the community where when you're out, at a party that people will start to see that if they discharge a weapon that they'll have to face a consequence. You don't think that's a win?
Nah, that's common sense. We know that already.
What do we know?
We know that if you discharge any type of weapon, projectile in public, you're a bozo.
No, I'm not saying whether or not it makes you smart or not. What I'm saying is you don't think it's a win for the community if we've been complaining about, people doing niggerish stuff and pulling guns and killing innocent people and children. You don't think that by seeing someone who did that have to face a consequence, you don't think that's a win?
Ah man, see, that would have been a win if there wasn't so much reasonable doubt. If there wasn't so much reasonable doubt in the concoction, then I
So
would
you
have.
don't think that the neighbor is being an eyewitness? You don't think that that is a
Not
fact?
at all. Not six. Hold on, six. This is a white dude from the UK. A lot of the times they be having little. He thought that they was trying to throw Megan Thee Stallion in the river, six. But if I was listening to
In the
Tory's,
river? He did not say nothing about no
yes,
river.
he did. He said that they, with the way the bodyguard and Kelsey and Tory was dealing with her, that the dude thought that they was gonna toss her in the river. I'm not making that up.
Oh, you're okay. I'm thinking you're saying throw them in the river like there was a river present with them.
Yeah,
So
I
I'm like, there
mean,
wasn't no river in the mountains. Okay, I
no,
see. I see. You're saying that he's saying he thought they were gonna take her body to the river. Now, see, that isn't really relevant to me because you can't speak on what you thought they were gonna do. But I mean, he said that he saw him shoot. So
all right. So hold up, six. Tory's father said that they on Saturday they brought him into like a little a room, and they kind of made him reinterpret his story. I mean, basically, Tory's dad was saying that their defense witness was compromised.
okay, so then why was Meg's witness missing?
You talking about the bodyguard that's
Yeah,
on tour with Tyga?
you said
Uh,
what?
you said you talking about the bodyguard that they said is in Qatar with Tyga or something?
The bodyguard that was missing and that just surrendered today.
Meg's bodyguard, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, that's her ex bodyguard, and it's so funny because I was speaking with my queen about that, and like there's so much holes in this. My queen was like, well, what if they was smashing? Because there is a video of Partisan end up trying to get into the bathroom. I don't know if any of y'all remember that video, but Meg was in the bathroom and her bodyguard was like in there, and Partisan was he broke off the door. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like if he would have testified, who what if something else came out? But then it's why is he her ex bodyguard, six? Why does this girl have a track history of messing up relationship after relationship? And a lot of ladies listening to this, y'all don't want y'all don't want y'all men around women like Megan Thee Stallion. Y'all dread friends like that. So like I think that this situation is like it's so multi like dimensional. You
Yeah,
know,
I mean, the truth is in this situation, ain't nobody right. Nobody wins. It's nobody right. It's an example of why, yes, everything that people do and cosign, why it is our business. Because every time we try to have a conversation to try to figure out solutions to our problem, people always say, mind your business. People can do what they want. So let's figure out the solutions we can get from this. The solutions are we need to start being more vocal and more judgmental towards each other. Yes, we need to judge you if you out here wilding, you know, you're having a consistent pattern of getting drunk and wilding out and raging out on people, let's start holding people accountable for that. Let's start judging people for that. Let's start saying, okay, the reason why we're going to do that is because when we let you do that and say we can't say anything because it's not our business, when these dramatic situations escalate and now y'all are pulling weapons around innocent people that have nothing to do with the situation, that's the problem. Okay. So a lot of stuff you're saying, I totally agree with. This is why this should be something that bring us together to say, let's go ahead and say we cannot pick and choose when something is true and when it's not. If men in totality are saying that men being emotional 9 times out of 10 is dangerous to us, what we can conclude, even no matter everything else, you can have your opinion on whether it's not enough evidence. One thing we do know is Tory Lanez habitually has a pattern of being emotional, reactive, and dramatic. Okay, he has a history. When Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, all the niggas was coming forward saying that it don't matter what the situation was, Will Smith never should have put his hands on Chris Rock. Then we have somebody like Tory who has consistently shown sporadic, emotional, dangerous reactions and behavior. Now all of a sudden we're like, well, you know, there might have been a reason why this happened. We don't really have enough evidence. Like, let's start talking about this. This is a win. This is a win because now the next time a nigga want to be in front of a crowd full of innocent people and pull a weapon out, they can think, oh shit, I don't know who might be watching, what camera angles might be, I don't know. Let me go ahead and not pull this weapon out. Let me not bring, you know, the gun to the knife fight. Let me get Lucky. How you doing? Let me unmute you. Hey. Oh shoot. I think we both pressing it.
Okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. I love this conversation. I'm sorry, I'm getting feedback. But I just want to when you talk about solutions, I think that's the best thing to gear the conversation because why is her sexual history even on trial when her music shows what she is? She doesn't hide the fact that she is promiscuous, so that is just irrelevant to bring up. It don't matter if she was violent, she didn't shoot anybody. So I think the
reason why it's relevant to bring up is because if she had an intimate relationship with the guy, that needs to be known on the trial, and I think that's the misconception.
No, I'm saying like the fact of the case is trying to prove that she was a whore. And I get the fact that they're saying you had a sexual relationship because didn't she go on Gail or something and deny it? But the fact of the matter is, to avoid these situations when men, let's put the whole situation of what they told us in perspective. He was messing with Meg. Kelsey didn't know. He knew they were friends. Therefore, he knew that I was messing with somebody. The girl, I'm messing with one girl, I'm messing with her friend behind each other back. While I have 2 of these same women who don't know at a location, I'm going to then try to talk to Kylie, who I was invited to, where I see one of the girls that I'm messing with is in this situation. You're kind of creating a messy situation where liquor is involved. And then we all know about a woman being scorned. It don't matter if she saw him. If a woman is hurt by the situation and she's pointing a finger at you, it's kind of just rich as a Black man to then say, yeah, I created this messy situation between females, but now let me run to the system to count on them to have a fair trial and look at me as innocent. When we all know that's never the case. To avoid this would be, how about if I'm messing with 2 girls behind each other back, I'm not going to create a situation further involving Kylie in their face being disrespectful, because now you're provoking it when we know said history of Meg. I'm sure he knows said history of Kelsey. You kind of put this on yourself. It's just like me in a situation. I've never been shot, but I've been stabbed. And the one thing I can say is, yeah, I can say the bitch had no reason shooting me. But the reality of it is I'm being friends with messy people that I knew were messy. I'm putting myself in situations. So we have to take accountability for the situations we put ourselves in. I don't see respectable men even looking at Meg, or respectable women being shot in the foot or grazed in certain situations where everybody's completely innocent. So I think if we can talk about Meg being a whore all day. We can talk about how she is on alcohol. But the truth of the matter is, a man, anytime you have penis and vagina situations that get emotions involved, you, especially like this, a woman is always going to react to feeling betrayed. She will call the police on you. Hello, I'd like to report a drug dealer.
Yeah.
You know, that's the reality of it. So now we're like, dang, this is so sad for him. Sometimes men think it's exciting. Like the messiness and the toxic behavior is exciting. Oh, I got women fighting. Oh, and they fine. You know what I'm saying? And she didn't been passed around. And then you get online after the fact and you don't show any remorse. You know what I'm saying? During the whole situation.
You know what? Let me interrupt you right there. I like that you brought that up. This is why I believe Tory did it. I'm looking at the totality of everything. What happened before, what happened during. When that fool, you're already on trial, okay, to potentially go away for decades. When that fool got out there and said, all this because I have good peen, that's when I knew. I said, oh, hell no. I could not believe that your life is on the line here. Your freedom is on the line. And in the middle of that, you went ahead and further added fuel to the fire and said that all this is happening because you got some good peen, which that means that you're absolutely right. You wanted to initiate this and you instigated this issue between them. You knew exactly what you were doing. This is called putting the battery in the women's back. Now, if you have a woman, let's go ahead and look at how this would be viewed if it was the other way around. Let's say it was a woman where she got her boyfriend and her side dude and her next side dude all in one place, and she's trying to pit them against each other. If they end up fighting and shooting, guess who's going to get blamed? The woman. They're going to say, well, look at her out here being a hoe, and she's putting a battery in her man's back and putting him in front of women, other people that, you know, she's sleeping with. But I don't get why in a situation with Tory, why is this accountability suddenly, you know, getting put to the back when you're right? He did this on purpose. He wanted to set up a problem. He when that man said that he's going through all this because he got good peen, that tell y'all right there where his head is at. He one of the men where his ego gets fueled by women fighting over him. He's one of the men who is going to triangulate women in order to make them go against each other. Just like we all know, if a man try to holler at you, you don't sit there and be like, hell no, you bitch ass nigga. You know to nicely decline and get up out of there. Why? Because is it right? No. But do we know that some men can retaliate when you reject them? Yeah. So we know. Don't put yourself in a position to embarrass him. By now, we've had enough consistent patterns in niggatry to know that there are some men where if you reject them, they will kill you or they would injure you. So by now, we have consistently seen nothing good happens when you pit two women you're sleeping with against each other. We have seen consistently that it always results in disaster. So Tory is a grown-ass man, got in there, instigated the situation, put the battery in the backs of all the women around. Then when it came to a head and escalated, in his opinion, his solution was to empty a clip to defend everybody there. So this is what I mean by a man lacking that masculinity. He's reactive. A masculine man would have been proactive to see this escalating and say, let me go ahead and bring this right back down. But because he lacked that masculinity there, he decides to let it overflow, let it come to all explode. Then he want to come forward like he's saving the day, to be reactive after the worst has happened, to try to make it look like he was trying to help. No. Can we get the same level of accountability to say, no, niggas like Tory are dangerous. Little tiny, teeny, Napoleon complex, short man syndrome, egotistical, hot-headed, emotional, impulsive men are dangerous. And anytime that you see, and most of them never do face consequence, because men like that are normally very spineless and manipulative and know how to weasel their way out of being accountable. So now we have a situation where a dangerous man like Tory is getting his consequence, which we'll find out at sentencing. And now all of a sudden, niggas is like, oh no, the white man, the system. What? Tory Tory personally could have avoided having any white man or systems involved in this situation. If you want to hold him to the level of accountability, had he not put the fuel on that fire, the white man would have never been called there and been there for him to be in their system right now. Okay. And somebody's saying what you're saying about Tory is true, but the same goes for Meg. No one said it wasn't the same with Meg. Every time I mention Tory, I don't have to say what Tory did and Meg too, and what Tory did and the woman did too. We can switch around the subject and address one thing at once. Okay.
And I want to point out, because you said women.
Hold on, lady.
I'm sorry.
Just gonna drop down. That's all.
Okay.
I just want to say, we're talking about two ratchet women. I just want to keep pointing that out, because I don't see any like two Lauren Londons or something like that carry themselves a certain way. Even doing this, a person will leave the party respectfully, like, this is ghetto. He on this, you know what I'm saying? Let me just leave. And people talking about Meg's accountability, I believe her accountability was when she got grazed.
Yeah, when she
maybe I should stay out of situations. You know what I'm saying? What else?
Her accountability was when she got exposed for being the biggest capper by sitting there talking about her body, her choice, do what I want. But then when somebody asked, did you fuck that nigga? She talking about she'd rather die. So she also got exposed. She got exposed and she almost lost her life. At the end of the day, regardless of what she did, she ain't the one that pulled that weapon on nobody. So like I said, once somebody pull that weapon, you become the most wrong. You become number one wrong when you pull that weapon. Okay. That her having to come forward and have her dirty laundry aired out. Woo, honey. As she should. And she got exposed as a fraud, lying to women for years, talking about hot girls sleep with these people. But then you said that you wanted to die when somebody asked, did you fuck that nigga? You know what I'm saying? Like, make it make sense. That's what I'm saying. Everybody needs to sit back and learn from this. Okay. Now, if you're a woman and you're dating drug dealers and Pookies and Ray Rays, when Pookie and Ray Ray go upside your head, they'll tell her, well, why you was messing with Pookie and Ray Ray? So then we got Tory, like you said, messing with two ratchet chicks. And then this shit pop off and we still not holding Tory accountable. No, Tory, why are you hanging out with female Pookie and Ray Rays, Pookisha and Rayisha?
That's literally why I actually got onto the panel.
How you doing, my brother?
I'm so good. It's so nice to finally get to speak to you, Miss Six. Thank you for letting me onto your platform.
Yes, come on in. I want to hear what you got to say.
That's beautiful. Hi, Lucky. I wanted to say hey to Bow Wow before he got off the live stream.
Hi.
You said Bow Wow. I'm weak.
Yeah.
So don't do my boy like that.
Hey. So look, they a lot of things that we don't realize that are taking place are happening right in front of our eyes that we don't see. One of them being, and I was just on Angry Man's channel a second ago. I'm not sure if you know who that is. He was just speaking on how women, especially the women of our generation, are defending the worst of us. They're defending the thugs or whatever because they're most relatable. And what's happening is the ones that are more or less in the middle of the situation, like the ones that have a little bit of suburb in them, if you will, they kind of get thrown into the street because they don't have that same mentality. So they're like, well, you ain't like us. We might as well just throw you off to the wayside. I think that's a terrible thing. I think that Tory Lanez is definitely, whether he shot her or not, is one of those in the middle types of guys. And we don't look at, for instance, a young thug and throw him into the street. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but there's been almost no women make videos on this man about how he was in the wrong. But there's millions of people that are making videos about how Tory Lanez is in the wrong. And that just goes to show how shitty our society is, defending men and women and our characters. And yeah, that's why I'm on here. I just got on here just to say that and see what you thought about that.
You got such a peaceful vibe. Like, you're just so peaceful. You're just like, hey, I'm just here just to say what I need to say. Like, good vibes. I'm digging the vibes. But yeah, like, my thing is this. there's a certain level of responsibility that each sex has in a situation. If you're a man and you're at a house party, you can have fun at the party, but at the end of the day, you always got to know that as a man, you're in charge of yourself and your own safety. Not my cat playing with this loud toy. I'm sorry if y'all hear that toy in the background. Now, why would he do this? At the end of the day, I want us to look at the bigger picture here. This is not Tory's first rodeo with, acting a fool. What I want to know from you is, do you feel like Tory Lanez is a dangerous type of guy?
I believe that he's dangerous to the people around him. He's not a dangerous person in general, no.
Well, I feel like, I mean, he's 5'3". I'm not talking about he's dangerous, like he's like a big old killer. I'm saying that guys like him that are so like impulsive like that and taking things over the top, in my opinion, they're dangerous. I don't invite men like him to any social events, get-togethers, gatherings. I don't like men like that around me at all. They always going to be the one to want to puff their chest out, cause a scene. That syndrome, like that's the part that's weird to me, is like, can we acknowledge that we sit and complain and we'll say, oh, at this place, here goes some niggas shooting and a child got caught in the middle, and we'll sit there and be like, oh, we hate this. But then when we have a dude like Tory who is out here getting upset and pulling firearms and saying that he's discharging the weapon and emptying the clip to save the day, we're going to sit and act like we're not glad that niggas like that are facing a consequence, because they normally never do. It normally just becomes a matter of they just get up out of there and then they do it again. Like men like him, like this is what I mean by us finding a solution and being more proactive towards things. If we can't agree that men like Tory are dangerous, then I don't know where we go from here, because guys like him, having them around, 10 times out of 10, they'll have you in some BS. Hey, Alexandria, how are you?
Hi, Six. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Six, I love you so much. Like, I'm so excited to actually be on your platform.
Hey.
Hey. Hi. So I have a few opinions on this, right? Now, I think my biggest takeaway from the verdict, I agree. I think two things can be true at once. The first thing is that yes, Tory is a short deviant to society. However, I feel like based on the information that was presented in court, quite honestly, I'm sorry to say that I don't feel like it was enough to just 100% convict him as guilty. I think that the prosecution did a very bad job of like the prosecution just didn't do as well of a job as the defense actually did for Tory. Like they subpoenaed so many people. Tory actually had a lot of people who came up behind him who tried to talk about what happened that night. Even the details that were coming out, these were things that were not privy to the public in general. And then I think that also this is another question about like blind loyalty and just believing things off of the bat. I'm not saying that Meg deserved to be shot. By no means do I believe that. I pray for her mental health or whatever. But I also think that when we hear stories like that, it's just, we need to just protect Black women and just stay with them and stuff like that. And then when we feel the need to ask questions about their behavior or what happened, then you get chastised as a problem and whatnot. And I don't think that that's right. I think that Meg presented this story in a certain way when it first happened, and she says that it's because of fear, but okay, she says that it was because of fear and all kind of other reasons and whatnot, and she presented it a certain way. And the way that she presented it presented in a way where she was able to become this poster child for protect Black women. She kind of got lumped into that whole Breonna Taylor movement and whatnot. After that, we got a lot of things that happened for her. We had Grammys given for her. We have documentaries given for her. We have political figures going for her. We have big names in the music industry going for her. Her whole music industry really embraced her, built her up, and did so many things to really like back her and support her. And I'm not saying that that was the wrong thing to do. However, we never even got the right facts to begin with. And then we hear the details come out, and the details are like, it's switching the story around to say like, okay, well, actually there were some things that you did that were actually pretty bad, and it makes her look bad. But we've done too much as a society to sit down here and not charge and convict Tory with something. So whether he did it or not, and I'm not saying that he's 100% innocent, I really want to keep on reiterating that, but whether he did it or not, more so, it kind of to me feels more so like we need to convict him and send him away to jail, regardless of if they did enough to defend her or not, just because of what we've already built up for her, if that makes sense.
No, that definitely makes sense. And that's the problem, is that's what I mean by us controlling the narrative and us controlling what it is that we get from these situations. That's the issue right there, is that when I did my video about Megan Thee Stallion, I said the problem is the woman will sit there and say she can do whatever she wants with her body.
Right.
You know, she can do whatever a man want to do. And then those same men that you told to mind their GD business and that they can't tell you what to do are the same men you will then run to protect you.
Exactly.
And the deal goes, if they can't speak on you, if they can't correct you, fine. But you also cannot hold them accountable when they don't protect you. So that is 100% a thing. And that is the negative impact of this, is that, yes, someone like Megan Thee Stallion, who be breaking woman code left and right, has somehow, you know, like she pulled a Colin Kaepernick. We had a mulatto, whiny brat like Colin Kaepernick somehow become the face of the Black revolution. And it's the same thing with the situation with Megan Thee Stallion. Is this is how people are able to weasel their way into the face of a revolution, even if they are not the right face for it.
Exactly. And she
so
was
that
like,
is the negative part. But let me just ask you this, sis. So you don't feel like the neighbor saying that he saw Tory discharge the weapon, you don't feel like that's enough evidence?
So when the eyewitness said is that he saw Kelsey shoot the gun first. He said that Tory was shooting the gun around or like in the air. I think like they were loose shots. What I do truly believe is that these two girls was over here fighting. This man, he came out, and yeah, I think that there was just a tussle between him and Kelsey over the gun. And that is more so what should be, not should be, but you know, like, I forgot to mention that as well. Kelsey's ass came into the court, and she already just asked for like immunity. She asked to plead the fifth, all kind of bad things. And to me, I feel like that was just an indicator of somebody who may or may not be hiding some. I mean, it just like that alone by itself, it presents reasonable doubt. So yes, the eyewitness did testify that he was.
You can say I can see your view that makes you feel like there's reasonable doubt. However, that's the game in any case like this. Okay. I feel like if Tory would have, instead of trying to just say he was completely innocent of anything, if he would have been the one to go ask for that deal first, ask for that immunity first, ask for, hey, I'll admit to this, I'll tell you this behind closed doors, I need to get the first dibs. I think had he done that, he might have been able to get the same thing that Kelsey got. I think it's just a matter of Kelsey got to it first. That's what it looks like to me, you know, and in any case, that's how it works most of the time. Whoever go ask for it first come, first serve. So I would like to have seen Kelsey also be found guilty if she is the one that initially discharged the weapon. I would. But if she played the game how it go, may the best man win. It is what it is. My bigger issue is I just want you to put yourself being present that night. I want everyone to really like take a minute to put yourself in the shoes of being out there in that driveway when this fight was going on. Like if it was you that was around when that weapon was discharged, like I can't see y'all saying, well, he discharged it because he was trying to help or he was trying to diffuse a situation. It's more so like you discharged a weapon and I was there. You could have killed me. The end. You know, I don't know. Me personally, I wouldn't really care that, oh, he was trying to help. If he discharged a weapon, if she did too, both of y'all need to go to jail. The end. Do I think he needs to go for 25 years? Absolutely not. That's what I'm saying, is him being found guilty. I can totally understand some people saying it shouldn't have been on all 3 charges, but it was. So we all need to just calm down, because you don't know what the sentencing is going to be. Now at sentencing, that's when we can start to bring in the white man and the system. Now, if he gets sentenced to 30 years or something weird like that, then we can come forward and say, blase squatter. But as of right now, he could get a year in prison and 5 years probation. We don't know. And regardless of what we all feel, if he did have a part in escalating the situation, we can definitely all agree that men do have a responsibility to not, react or let somebody trick you out your spot. We can agree that is definitely should be an expectation of men. Okay. So I think it's okay to say, you know what? We'll wait till sentencing to figure out if Tory was really, is he going to be a victim of the system? We'll see. We don't know what he's going to get as far as a sentencing. That's when we can start to have some of the arguments y'all are having. But as of right now, I think we need to understand that that's a dangerous kind of man. Now, all of a sudden, everybody's saying that the neighbor seeing it and him saying on the stand that he saw Tory shooting the weapon. With me, you ain't got to add he shot it in the air, he shot it on the ground. Once you say he shot that weapon, I'm done. You shot the weapon, go to jail. You could have killed anybody there. That could go through a wall, go through a window. So I think we got to wait till sentencing before we say whether or not it's necessarily fair. Rush, how you doing?
I'm all right. Salute to you and your panel. What up, Lucky? How you?
Hi, Rush.
You got
Yeah,
something to add? Go ahead. I'm gonna switch the battery out while you're talking.
It's a serious matter for Tory to take it to trial because one, he's not an American citizen. I think he's under like a working visa, so it's like a Russian roulette for him to take it to trial like that because if he is convicted fully of discharging the firearm, he will get locked up. As soon as his time is over, he gets out. He's gonna get deported, and that's gonna mess up his career because majority of his fans is in the United States, and a lot of these artists they make their money off going to tours and stuff like that. He won't be able to he won't be able to be touring like that if he gets deported back to Canada. It's like one of those things, man. It's a catch-22 for this kid, man, because it's like he definitely put himself in a bad situation. And as a black man in the United States, man, you got to be careful on how you move because these judges, man, they're ready just to throw the book at you, man, just because you're a black man,
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100%, but at the same time, that's why. Maybe because he's not from here, so maybe he a little bit game goofy on how it goes here. But I'm sorry, but most men, and especially most black men in the United States, would know to not ever touch, look at, or discharge a weapon in the Beverly Hills. I'm sorry, like
not
Caliban.
necessarily. You got to factor
Literally,
in
though.
Have you ever been in, let me ask you real quick, have you ever been in the Beverly Hills?
No, but I've been to Vegas before, so it's kind of like the same
It's
vibe.
different, brother. It's way
Let me
different.
just explain to you
But
real quick.
let me just say this real quick.
Just give me 1 second. Let me just set this up for you on how it looks in these neighborhoods. You are going up a tiny road that is like literally on the side of a mountain. It's like one way in, one way out. They put these folk up in them mountains where you cannot just take the alternate route and jump on the highway. They purposely position these homes in the mountains the way they are because it's one way in, one way out. Okay. I'm telling you now, men that are from here, if you don't do nothing else, they know you better not pull no weapon in Beverly motherfucking Hills unless there is a gun to your head first and you are in that moment trying to save your life. You will not get out of there. There is no way out. So here go Tory not being American. Okay, when Brittany Griner was in Russia and had that weed, everybody was like, do the crime, do the time. You in their country, you better get to know their rules. Well, hey, Tory, welcome to America. Let me tell you about America rules. Here, you can't be doing all that dumb shit. All that rah-rah in the middle of Beverly Hills in the middle of the night. Nigga, no, you cannot say, I'm going to save y'all, so I'm going to grab this gun and empty this clip out. You ass. That's what I mean by the man have to be held accountable to say, what are you doing? You know, when it come to Beverly Hills, trust me, what majority of men would know, you fire a firearm out there, may God help you. It's not a neighborhood where you jump on the highway and you get up out of there, which is
Yeah, I
most
mean,
of the time.
yeah, you're not getting out of there.
You got to factor in the, you know, the drug abuse, and he's probably inebriated, so he's not going to make the most logical decision at that specific moment. But yeah, you're right. I mean, he does the crime, he should do the time. But this is all allegedly that he discharged his firearm. They don't even have 100% solid proof that he actually did it. You know, and another thing I wanted to add in, Megan Thee Stallion bodyguard was supposed to I guess testify as a witness, but he skipped the court date. You know, that's kind of
no, he didn't skip. He just stopped responding, and the media is going to make it seem like he's missing. And now all of a sudden, the day of the verdict, he's found. People know what to do when they don't want to be subpoenaed, especially if what I could say could make it worse. Why would I say anything?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to factor that in too, you know. But yeah, I mean, listen, man, I get it. You know, he did the crime. If he actually did the crime, yeah, he should do the time. Most definitely.
So do you think that if Tory did not shoot her, do you think that the bodyguard and the driver would have came forward and said he did not shoot her?
Yeah, I think they would have came forward surely.
Yeah,
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think that if he really did not shoot her, them as men there, I think they would have came forward and been like, no, he did not shoot. That nigga did shoot. Like, I don't get why we're acting like, oh, this is so hard to believe. Like, look at Tory's behavior. If Tory was not Tory Lanez and he was a regular Pookie and Ray Ray, and it was you at that party, and Pookie was a short man syndrome, getting mad, discharging a weapon, starting bitches fighting amongst each other, y'all would be the first ones so pissed. Like, lock him up, get him out of here. But because it's Tory Lanez, y'all are like, well, you know, he was drunk. Well, you know, I mean, come on now. The driver would have said he did not shoot him. The neighbor, literally under oath, at risk of perjury, said he saw Tory shoot that gun. So, you know, I don't know. Rod, you got something you want to add? I'm trying to unmute you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, first of all, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing? Derek, don't just say Six, you're missing the point. Derek, please hit the link and come up here. We're having a civilized conversation. I mean, we're talking about it right now. You keep saying I'm missing the point. Well, come and explain it to me.
Well, Miss Six, I'm going to say that I'm very grateful for letting me come onto your platform. I'm going to step down now. Many blessings.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on. You have a good night.
Bless.
Yeah, I was gonna head out too. I just wanted to.
Okay, sis. Yeah, y'all drop off whenever you need to. Y'all have a good night. Go ahead, Rod. Oh, I think you're muted. Okay, yeah. Go ahead, Rod.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, I'm wondering why so many of our people celebrating the fact that this young man, has been found guilty. Okay, in the case it has so much doubt. Okay, now I'm not denying that he didn't shoot the gun, but I don't believe he shot her. But I mean, when I look on these social media sites, I mean, so many black women, they're celebrating that. Hell, that's the only damn party that he got convicted. You know, it's like they're so happy about this. You know, and to me, it's sickening because it's like, I mean, don't. It just don't make sense. It's just insane to me. You know, I'm in a case that has so much doubt. I mean, so much doubt. I mean, you know, I'm not saying.
What do you feel that there's doubt about?
Say it again.
What do you feel like there's doubt about specifically?
I don't believe he shot her. Okay. Now, I'm not saying he didn't have the gun. Okay. But I don't believe he shot that woman in the foot. I don't believe that. Okay. Because, I followed the case. All right. And, and of course, y'all said it too as well. I mean, Kelsey had the gun. I mean, her and Kelsey got into an argument, fighting soon. Kelsey grabs the gun. There's gun residue on her and Tory. Okay. But that gets left out. Okay, so right there, that's doubt right there. Okay, well maybe he didn't shoot her. Okay, maybe it didn't happen the way they said it happened. Then the eyewitness, account. I saw, another lady with a gun. I mean, that's two accounts. That's two witnesses, right? Two accounts right there. So there is some doubt. Now I'm not gonna lie. In the beginning, I thought, maybe Tory did do it. Okay, I mean that's what I thought in the beginning. But as I followed the case, I said, well, wait a minute. Okay, well maybe he didn't do it. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, well, why y'all celebrating this? Okay, I mean, why are so many women celebrating the fact that this man, well, young man, okay, well, I'm older than him. This young man, I mean, has been found guilty of a crime that he possibly did not commit. So it's just sickening to me, And I told a lot of these women, I said, look, that could have been your brother, your daddy, okay, your cousin, or any black man that you love. Okay, it could have been anyone. It could have been them. I mean, it's not funny. It just ain't, I mean, and I share something with you too, Six. I remember I was a junior FAMU. I never forget this. Okay, my roommate, he got kicked out of school because his girlfriend. Okay, well, he played football too. Okay, he played football. They got into a fight because he wouldn't let her drive his BMW. Okay, so she takes a Grey Goose bottle, hits him across the head. He falls down the steps. Okay, she chases him down the stairs and starts hitting on him. The neighbors called the police, and guess who went in jail? He did. Matter of fact, he got a charge. He got to carry that charge, all because she lost control. I see stuff like this all the time. But because she's the one.
I understand that. I do understand that, and I too see stuff like this all the time. I see stuff like this all the time as well. If you feel like an eyewitness account is not, good enough evidence, if you feel like a guilty verdict still means he didn't do it, you're entitled to feel that way. But I've also seen situations like this too. I do know, that could have been my brother. I also know that my brother would know better than to not only have a weapon, but discharge a weapon in Beverly Hills in the middle of the night. Okay, if you do that, I'm sorry, but you have to be held accountable. Tory has not been sentenced yet. You don't know what sentence he's going to get. Let me finish. I'll let you talk, my brother. Let me just say my piece.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, Tory could get a year in probation. We don't know what he's going to get, but the fact that he's found guilty, I mean, we have to just go ahead and rock with that. I've seen situations like this before. Could it have been my brother falsely accused, going to jail? Absolutely. Could it also have been my brother being an innocent bystander at that party, getting hit with one of them bullets? Absolutely. So this is a double-edged sword. The bigger picture here is that what we do factually know is that Tory put the battery in the backs of those women. What we do factually know is that he did discharge that weapon. I mean, you can say all day that the eyewitness does not suffice, but to me, it does. I can't see any reason why that man would make that up, and he's under oath with the risk of perjury. Okay, we know for a fact that men that act like Tory Lanez are dangerous. They are very emotional, anger issues, always feeling as though they have to prove something to somebody. Tory Lanez is the guy that I see so many black men complaining about. Y'all can't even go get some cookies without worrying about a nigga shooting you up. So I would think that it would be black men who would be the one like, we're tired of these niggas getting into a fight. And he get into a fight with women. Like, get out of here. These niggas that get into a fight, get angry, get drunk, and they start drawing unnecessary attention, start putting us in situations where the police got to get called. Like, I would think we would have some type of joy in the fact that, good, I'm so tired of niggas going to parties and getting drunk and fighting and shooting. I'm so tired of it. I've been in that situation before. And when I finally got back up from being on the ground like this, hoping and praying to God that I did not get hit with a bullet, when I got back up, my immediate emotion was anger. It was, I cannot believe you drunk, retarded ass niggas, because y'all are over here arguing and fighting. Y'all don't pull the gun out and you shooting in the air, trying to scare the other person. When you're in that situation and you survive it, I promise you, you don't give a fuck why that person discharged the weapon. You don't give a fuck about the white man, the system. You are just so disgusted that this person thought so little of your life to discharge a weapon. He discharged a weapon in Beverly Hills. Really let that roll off your brain. You know, I want you to put it on the other shoe. If that was a woman in the middle of this and two men would have shot each other because the woman started a beef between them, y'all would 100% be blaming that woman. But I think it's so weird that Tory is the one that pit these women all against each other, and we're acting as though he doesn't deserve any accountability for him being the reason why all this came to a head. Hustler and Muscular, how are you?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. What's your thoughts on the subject?
I think it's complete bullshit. I mean, seriously, they had evidence that his fingerprints were not even on the damn weapon. So how they gonna accuse him of doing anything? I don't get it. So are they trying to go out the way to protect these young ladies because one of them is a famous rap star, or is it because she's a woman, giving her special treatment? So even the legal system is trying to sweep it all under the rug and give her a free pass. I don't get it. It don't make any sense to me.
No, and I agree with you 100%. I think that there's many times where Black women end up not having to be accountable on the back of the Black men around them. I agree with you with that. But let me ask you this. Do you feel like Tory deserves any accountability for all of this unraveling the way it does?
Hell yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. She deserves to be held accountable for everything.
What parts of this do you feel Tory is accountable for?
I mean, she's the one who started all this stuff, and for what I understand, she's the one who started this whole thing.
Well, she actually didn't start it. It actually was Tory that started the whole thing.
Okay, my signal.
My question to you more so was, I'm just curious to get your thoughts on what part of this was Tory accountable for?
Well, Tory's responsible for putting himself in that situation.
Well, he's held accountable for sleeping with both females. And you know how females get when they sleep with the same male and they find out that, they've been sleeping with the same male, it could get pretty violent and emotional. So I would hold Tory accountable for that. What probably really happened is that, Megan's friend probably wanted to reach for the firearm, and Tory probably wanted to prevent her from shooting Megan. That could be also in the possibility, but it's kind of debunked because they say that his print is not even on the firearm. I did hear that too. Well, I mean, it's just there's a lot of holes in the story. Like.
Well, I mean, not really. I mean, I know you're in New York, and most of the time y'all can't have firearms, but it is very possible to discharge a firearm, and by the time it gets into evidence, for your fingerprints to not be on it. It's possible. It's possible to discharge a firearm, and by the time the police put it in the plastic bag, that there is not enough of a print or your fingerprint on it. So his fingerprint not being on it is giving very much.
I kind of not in that situation, because nobody's thinking logical at the moment, so I wouldn't see whoever just discharged that firearm at that specific moment. They didn't have enough time to wipe their prints off of it. Obviously they found prints on it, for somebody to irrationally get the dumping in Beverly Hills.
So you don't think that the driver and the bodyguard, the other men in the situation. So you don't think that between all these men who are clearly someone is covering for someone, you don't think that with all these people present, that not one person after these shots were fired could have grabbed that gun in between then and when the police came and wiped the gun in any form? You don't think that's plausible y'all.
Not that nobody's thinking that rational at the moment. You know,
I
it's not
mean,
one. I don't.
not
It's
everyone there. The
it
driver
wasn't
wasn't
the,
intoxicated. The bodyguard wasn't intoxicated. We don't know.
the
We don't
reason
know
why.
who could
The
have popped.
reason why I say that is because it wasn't a planned situation. This is something that happened in a sporadic moment. So, I mean, I can understand if it was planned in a planned situation, but this was not planned a planned
Honestly, when a
situation. You know.
firearm is discharged, even the most rookie firearm owner or the most rookie criminal would say, okay, there's going to be a fingerprint on the weapon. I think even in your most drunken stupor, when you have that oh shit moment, I just discharged this weapon, I don't think it's so crazy to say that somebody would be like, oh shit, and kind of, wiped it a little bit. I don't like your fingerprint. My point is that your fingerprint not being on a gun does not mean you did not shoot the gun.
Well, they found fingerprints. It's just that it's not Tory's. You know. So I don't know.
Again,
That's why I say this don't really make sense. But yeah, I mean, it's a possibility. It's a possibility. It's not concrete, but yes, it is a possibility. You know what I mean?
But I want you to answer the question, because I've posed this question a few times, but I haven't really got an answer. I'm curious a man's perspective on this. Okay, when Will slapped Chris Rock, most people blame Jada for it. They said that Jada should have kept a happy face. They said she shouldn't have let him know that she was upset. They said she put a battery in his back, and they held her accountable. So my question to you is this: do you honestly feel as though if this was a woman who had multiple men that she was sleeping with and went to them and was trying to pit them against each other and was trying to get them to fight each other, do you think that society, do you think you personally would hold the woman accountable to say, why is she putting a battery in the back of all these men around her? Why is she pitting them against each other?
Well, here's the thing. The reason why within, well, are you speaking in general or within the black community?
I'm speaking in general. If this was the
in
other
general,
way around, so Tory,
well, okay.
Women present, he's pitting them against each other. Let's say I was at the party and I have 2 or 3 men that I'm sleeping with that are there, and I go to one and I try to pit them against each other and make them want to fight, and somebody ends up pulling a gun out, the gun ends up going off, we all end up getting questioned. Do you feel like society would hold me accountable and say it's my fault because I invited these 2 different men I'm dealing with and I put a battery in their back? Do you feel like society would say that about me?
No, I mean, within the black community, yeah, but in general, nah. But I'm not. Listen. I'm not saying Tory Lanez is a saint.
I want to answer to these questions. I'm asking these specific questions for a reason. So let me ask it to you this way: what would be your personal opinion? So you heard about it; it hits the news. Oh my God, Sixthegoddis had 2 different men she was sleeping with. She instigated a fight between them. They ended up fighting, ended up shooting. If you heard that story, would a thought come to your head of, oh, so Sixthegoddis is at fault here because why is she sitting there putting a battery in these men's back? Would you feel like that? Is more so my question.
Not in that kind of sense. I would look at it like, hey, she's very manipulative. She manipulates the situation where it caused 2 individuals to engage into a violent act, and I would look at it as a wrong thing, and I'm looking at the situation with Tory's situation the same way, but it's still not a concrete thing. I mean, like, we still don't know what's going on,
Okay.
But to answer your questions, like, yeah, that's how we would look at it. Yes.
Yeah. So that's why I'm saying I feel like, we can't really sit here and say Tory is the victim here. Tory very easily could have kept himself out of this situation. He literally asked for this. Who would do that? Let me start a fight between 2 big ass stallion bitches at 2 a.m. in Beverly Hills, knowing we got weapons present, knowing we got drugs here. Like, come on. Like, this is so weird that we're all turning Stevie Wonder. Like,
Can I ask a question about that?
Go ahead, my brother.
How do we know for a fact if Tory knew they had a weapon? Because didn't their hairdresser, Kelsey and Meg, said that Meg and Kelsey are known to carry a gun in their bag or their purse? So how do we know if Tory knew it was a weapon in there? And from what people have been reporting, from what people that were inside the courtroom, they said possibly Meg could have pulled out the gun and shot it. and missed herself. I think there were no bullet fragments found in it. It might have been glass, but they didn't test her for gun residue. So we don't know if it could have been Kelsey or Meg that fired the joint, because they did have a fight though, you know.
Well, what is the point that you're trying to make
But
there?
you said that Tory knew there was a gun in it. We don't know if Tory knew there was a gun inside of the car, because the gun obviously, I believe the gun belonged to Kelsey's and it's unregistered.
Okay,
It's an unregistered gun protection.
Okay, so let's say that we take that element out of it. You
Okay.
still don't think that it's not smart to start a fight between two stallion bitches at 2 a.m. in Beverly Hills when y'all are drunk and on drugs?
I mean, it's not smart to run your mouth anyway. You learn that shit with time. You know, you got to bump your head up against a few walls.
I want to answer to this specific situation.
I just said, no, it's not smart to be talking about, oh, well, Meg is sleeping with me, so I don't know why you're taking her side. Yeah, that's some feminine, stupid stuff, but, you know, that's not punishable by jail time. But, yes, nobody should, men and women should not be messy. I believe that, yes.
Yeah, and you're saying what he did, you're saying it shouldn't be punishable by jail time. And what I'm saying is that what Megan did, it shouldn't be punishable by death. You know, the surgeon came forward and said that she definitely had bullets in her foot. So, and bullet fragments in her
bullet fragments.
That's why people believe that she kind of accidentally shot herself, because they didn't. There are theories that she could have accidentally shot herself.
You're saying you think she shot herself?
Yeah, because they did fight. They took pictures. She pulled out the patch of Kelsey's hair and she bruised up Kelsey. So they did fight. Police took pictures. I don't believe that they necessarily showed the pictures in the courtroom, but when it first went down, police took pictures that she beat up Kelsey. And that's why that guy you said
Megan beat up Kelsey and then shot herself in the foot is what you think happened.
No, I'm saying she could have pulled out the gun. She could have pulled out the listen. First of all, guns aren't meant for females' hands. It's harder for a female to handle a weapon than it is for a man. I'm saying Kelsey or Meg could have shot the gun. We don't know. Because they didn't test her for gun residue. If they tested her for gun residue, we would have known for a fact if she would have shot, because if she would have shot the gun, she would have had more residue on her than the rest of the people. But we don't know. They didn't test her for gun residue.
That's not really how the gun residue does not necessarily say, oh, you know, if Kelsey had the gun residue on her, that means she shot. It doesn't mean that if Tory had it, it means that he shot. What we do know is that the eyewitness said that he saw Tory shoot the gun. Like that.
From my understanding, I heard that he gave two accounts. I think first he said he saw the woman shoot, and then he switched. Then later he said something that Tory could have shot. So I'm not saying Tory didn't shoot the gun. I'm just saying everybody should have been tested for gun residue, and the gun obviously wasn't Tory's gun. So it's still not conclusive evidence. That's all.
When I was in a situation like this before, I'm going to tell you what ends up happening. The night of the incident where everybody's adrenaline is still pumping, everybody is still shaken up. Most of the time, the story that you give at the incident and the story that you give once you're on the stand at risk of perjury tends to be different in most cases. By the time you're getting on the stand, you've had time to think about what happened. Things make sense. In the moment, he may be saying it was two women, but Tory, not to be funny, but he is tiny like a woman. So we don't know if the man he looking through the window, you don't know if he could have been saying he thought it was a woman, but he's saying that I recognize that person. So you can't say that, oh, at the time he said one thing and on the stand he had another. The statement they give on the stand is actually the one that you should look at as the most accurate, because they understand if I get up here and lie, I'm going to jail.
But he didn't take the stand, right? I think the guy that gave that witness account, I believe he didn't take the stand. But he also said that he saw three people bum rushing Kelsey. I guess it was the bodyguard, Tory, and whoever was trying to get the gun out of her hand. He also said he thought three people jumped Kelsey. That wasn't the case. They were just trying to subdue her because maybe she grabbed the gun or whatever. But I don't think that he gave his testimony in court. It's just that's what he told the police.
Ultimately, what is your conclusion about the case?
We don't have evidence to say that Tory shot the gun, is what I'm saying. We do know that the gun didn't belong to him. From what we know is most 90% that the gun belonged to one of the two. I'm not, basically what you're saying is a common sense thing. Men shouldn't be feminine. He's guilty more of being a feminine, a single mama raised, mama boy acting clown, not showing masculine traits. But far as him shooting the gun, we truly don't know. But yeah, he's at fault, and it's a teaching moment to teach people how to move about and how to deal with women. You shouldn't be stirring up mess between two females. I agree with that. But far as with the gun situation, we really don't know if he shot the gun or not.
Okay. What's the name on here? No Prisoners. How are you tonight?
All right, how you doing, Six?
I'm doing good, thank you. You want to
All
ask
right,
something?
it's good to be on your show. I watch you. I am a subscriber. The part that's show up here when it comes to you asking the question about how men would react to it if the tables would turn and this was a woman that brought two men together. The part that showed that men ain't being real in this is most of them don't even answer your question. I mean,
right, that's why I was like, why is nobody like directly answering? They're like avoiding it because they know what the answer is.
Right. And I see it when I watch the shows and they talk about women and being submissive and that kind of thing. I don't like when the brothers make it seem like the problem between black men and black women is all on the black woman. Like the black man don't play a part in it at all. Like when a woman have a child and the father ain't around, the father ain't had nothing to do with that, even to the point where they saying we shouldn't even teach our sons that if you messing around with a woman, especially when they thinking she might be trying to trap me. Well, the best way to avoid that trap if you're going to deal with her is to use a condom. I had guys attack me because I said I raised my son to know if you don't want to have a child, use protection. But answering your question, yeah, it would be different. And he do hold some responsibilities. I'm not up on the case like most people not, because we done heard so many things. But like you say, if he pulled the gun, then of course he had to be held responsibility. The part that I'm totally against, I don't trust this system at all. Because I know even with that, like you say, they'll be over there talking about give them 25 years in jail.
Right. And that's when the problem kicks in.
Right.
But to me, him being found guilty is not the problem. Now, his sentencing could be found to be the problem. I'm glad he got found guilty. We need more niggas that act like him to see that they will have a consequence for their action. Had Tory got off on this, who knows what the next stupid thing would be that he would do. This might actually be the best thing for him so he can learn, you got to stop acting like that. At the end of the day, we can say the system is involved, but the truth is that Tory had every opportunity to avoid the system from being a part of this.
And if you're going to be a man that want to deal with two women, then know how to handle it, know how to hold them accountable. You can't be bringing them together if they not down with that situation like that, because you know it's going to create a problem. Just like you say, if it was a woman with two men and she brought them in the same area, it's going to be a problem. So if he couldn't handle the two, then chances are he probably couldn't even handle one. But I agree with you, and I'll close on this, Six. I did send something, try to get into you, because I'm starting a podcast, and I'm trying to get my 50 subscribers, and I wanted you to be a subscriber. And I tried to put it in there, but it wouldn't allow me to put it in now for some reason. But it's under No Prisoners, like my name, No Prisoners 1977.
What's your channel about?
I'm going to be dealing with real issues, just like we talking about now, but mainly my main thing going to be on black men standing up, taking our responsibility, protecting and respecting our women, protect our women and children, and stop just blaming everything on black women. And because we all went through slavery together, so we need to rise up together as well.
Child, they is not finna watch that shit.
What you say?
I said them niggas is not finna watch that shit.
When I come in with it like I do, they gonna come aboard, because it's time. It's time, Six. If we can't do that, then it's not gonna be no saving for us, because we as black men do hold the biggest responsibility to seek the right things for our children. I think it's time we educate our own children. If we're going to fight this system for anything, we need to fight to be able to control our own destiny. And I think it's that time, and I think we can win that fight.
All right. Well, good luck, child.
All right. I hear you. Thanks, Six.
Have a good night.
All right, you too.
Miles, you want to go ahead and add something on the subject? I'm trying to unmute you. Okay, Miles, when you're ready, unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You have something you want to add on the subject?
Yes, I do. So for the accountability question you're talking about, if a woman brought two men and pitted them against each other, and it happened exactly like that, then I would say that she would be held accountable by society. But because this didn't happen that exact way with Tory, Meg FaceTimed him and called him over there, and then obviously things happened from there. She got mad and was barking at Tory in the car, and then Kelsey joined in and was ganging up on Tory, and then that's what made him drop the bomb and say, "I've been dealing with both of y'all," and that's why he shouldn't have done that, and that's why he apologized in the jail cell when he was calling Kelsey. He apologized for that, or that's what I think he was apologizing for, rather than shooting her. And then going with that, with the gun going off, again, it's not like he is drunk, and all of them were drunk. That's why Megan, when she gets drunk, she gets real aggressive. And that's why she was beating up on Kelsey. And Kelsey, being drunk as well, and then goes and grabs the gun and tries to do something until he stops that. So if he is to be held accountable for shooting the gun, it should only be the one shot or the one count of discharging the weapon randomly or whatever they called it, and it shouldn't be all three. So that's why I think when people are saying the white man is getting involved and the white man won, that's what they're saying that because they found him guilty in all three, not just the single count of him just shooting it up in the air.
I mean, I don't know. I think that this is very odd. I'm actually intrigued to hear the male perspective on this. I'm really intrigued to hear y'all thoughts on this because I feel so confused how I see so many men talk about, like I did a post about the DA here in Atlanta. And I said, she's a devil. I said, she out here trying to lock up all Black men in the name of locking up rappers, trying to bring us down. And everybody was like, oh, shut up. She's getting rid of the criminals. She's getting rid of the ones that are breaking in and causing us harm. And I was like, well, y'all need to be careful with that because what will happen is they're going to end up issuing out, the max sentences for every, crime a nigga do out here. And niggas was like, I don't care. I know I ain't committing no crime. So if they do that, then so be it. So now we have this instant where like Tory literally a month ago just attacked August Alsina out of the blue. Okay. Had him black and blue swollen up. And so now we're all of a sudden saying that men like Tory are not dangerous and this is the white man system taking Tory down. Now all of a sudden we're acting as though we care why a dangerous man like Tory is found guilty and getting ready to go to jail when we should be happy about that. I'm tired of niggas like him. We are all tired of niggas like him.
But
people are probably showing some concern because he's not being charged correctly with not being charged with the correct charge for him to be incarcerated. That's why everybody's showing a bit concerned because God forbid, you have a relative that's a male, he's in a similar situation, and they throw the book at him because he was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. That's why people are showing some concern.
Yeah, and that I totally agree with. However, what I do know is in this situation, seeing Tory's consistent pattern, men like him will get themselves and everyone around them killed. So I think
here's the thing. Now, with him,
give me 1 second. If we take the systematic part out of it and we talk about this on an individual standpoint, I mean, men like Tory will literally put you in a situation where themselves and everyone around end up going to jail. Now we all got to come to court. Now we all got to testify. The way that Tory conducts himself is literally a liability. And that part being a huge factor here is why I'm confused, because if it would have been you at that party got grazed by that bullet, I think you would feel differently. Thank you so much for the super chat, Malevolent Elephant. Y'all, I just love Malevolent Elephant. Thank you so much. Y'all, Malevolent Elephant is a hot mess. Y'all, why I tried to take Malevolent Elephant to go get a drink, you know, welcome him to Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you support me. Let me do something nice for you. Let me support you. Y'all, why I try to take Malevolent Elephant and then I try to treat him and then he refused to let me treat. I'm so done with him, y'all. I'm so done. I said, let me spoil him a little bit. Let me do something for him. Child, he won't even let me, child. I'm so done with you, Malevolent Elephant, child. I'm done with you at this point. Welcome to Atlanta. Colonel Mustang, you have something that you would like to add?
Hello, Six. I just wanted to ask, you said that Tory was the one who instigated the fight between the two ladies, but you kind of didn't really touch on the fact that Megan was kind of sleeping with her sister's, well, I don't know if he was a man at the time, what kind of relationship they had going on, but she must have known Kelsey and Tory were getting into something here and there. So like, I wanted to know why Meg kind of thought it was all right to kind of violate the code, since you talk about Black people being on code, especially women being on code. That's it. So I want to ask.
I mean, I talked about that in my video about her. I said, yeah, I think it's gross that they're all sleeping behind each other. You know, I think it's definitely gross that she's sleeping with her sister's man or her friend's man or whatever. Like, definitely.
But that's regular stuff, though. In
Yeah,
real
but
life, people move like that. It just so happened that the mass media is magnified into their personal sex life, you know.
Right.
And to go back on August Alsina, whatever his name is, he's not an angel, you know. He could be quite disrespectful, and I can understand why Tory Lanez gave him the beats, you know.
Now, see, I just want to know this.
That's crazy.
Can I ask y'all this?
That's
Can
crazy.
I ask y'all this? When Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, why y'all was saying it don't matter what Chris Rock did, Will Smith never should have put his hands on him? So why is it all of a sudden, well, you know, August Alsina is a bitch ass nigga, so I don't blame.
No. Here's the thing.
I thought y'all said that under no circumstance,
hold on.
if somebody has words, should you take it physical? So
listen,
it was a joke.
August is no saint, you know. He's sleeping with people's wives. I'm quite sure he's disrespectful, and you know, he bumped into a 5'3" nigga that gave him the beats, you know.
Yeah, but he didn't even start the altercation. Tory kind of just ran up on him, and so that's not really a great example, in my opinion.
This is weird.
It's not a great example.
So weird to me. I don't get it. Like, why can't we just say Tory Lanez bitch ass nigga, and all this shit is his fault, and he could have avoided this whole thing, and now you fucking dumbass, you're damn right, your ass going to the system. We all know how this go. We all know that a normal man under normal circumstance would have known I'm not about to discharge this firearm in Beverly Hills. The end. I don't
Hennessy, man.
Y'all talking about in the Will Smith situation, it was a joke. Like, so if Chris Rock was serious, then Will Smith would have been justified to slap him. Like, I'm not getting it. Y'all keep changing.
Well, hold on. Well, with the Will Smith situation,
he should not have used violence of any kind.
With the Will Smith situation, definitely Will was wrong for putting hands on Chris Rock. The reason why I say that is because they're all comedians. This is their profession, and
no, but
you
that's
know
not what was said. What was said was that under no circumstance should a man, you know, go to pulling weapons or slapping somebody when it comes to just words. So according to what was said is that Megan told Tory that his music sucked and he got mad and decided to take things physical.
Well, I mean, that's allegedly, it's not true. But as an artist that put out music, yes, there will be sensitivity when somebody mocks their craft, you know?
But it's not worth pulling a gun over and shooting someone over, I don't believe.
No. I mean, I guess that, and I agree. I guess that's my whole point, Colonel Mustang, is why are we acting like there would be a justification for him to be not only acting the way he did that night, but the way he has shown consistent patterns of acting.
True.
Like, would you invite Tory to your home?
No.
I know I wouldn't. A nigga like that will get everybody fucked up. I know his type. That's what I'm saying. Maybe some of y'all been fortunate enough where you've never had to deal with a nigga like that in your circle or around you. But I'm telling you now, they're hell. They the ones where when some shit go down, everybody else, we just trying to get home safe, just trying to shut the fuck up. They're the ones that when they go to run in their mouth, the rest of the group be like, oh, here we go again.
He's a
we go again, nigga, is the worst nigga to have around you.
He's a Pookie and Ray Ray with short man syndrome. It's a bad combination. Like,
well, I mean, I wouldn't.
He's like a black Napoleon.
Hold on, guys.
Napoleon complex.
I think we're being a bit strenuous to put him in that kind of category. I wouldn't put him in that kind of the category of being a Pookie and Ray Ray.
Wait. How is Tory not a Pookie? He's a textbook Pookie and Ray Ray. What do you mean?
If there's a such thing as a textbook Pookie and Ray Ray,
how does he not fit the description of a Pookie and Ray Ray?
Because that's just one incident, like, and it's all the allegedly, it's not concrete that he took the firearm and discharged
so much for the super chat. Will, you about to make me get rich. We'll talk about I'm only mad at a 5'2" and we're on a 6 foot woman. This is not supposed to happen. Niggas gonna think he can get away with murder. Will, shut up, you stupid. We'll talk about he done got in that tall coochie. Now he think he on top of the world. Now he like, well, shoot, if I climb that tree, I can get away with murder. Slow your roll, but baby, slow your roll.
That's crazy.
Again, I just like to see consistency. I feel like it's been pretty consistent. On the Megan Thee Stallion type, we ain't never made no excuses for Megan over here. We've been using her as the example for God knows how long on exactly what not to do as a black woman.
Well, from the beginning, she lied and said she got shot on her foot, and then the following day she's out twerking. I think that's being disingenuous.
It can be being disingenuous, but the reality is, let's even take away the fact on whether or not
when you make those false accusations, you're supposed to do some time behind that. But she's gonna get away with that.
The reality is this: Tory did. The eyewitnesses say that Tory did discharge that weapon, so that's all I care about. At the end of the day, whether or not it hit Megan or not, to me, is not as relevant as the fact.
Hey, for all we know, that person could have been paid to do that. So
you think this person that lives in a Beverly Hills mansion next to Kylie Jenner needed to get paid to lie and perjure themselves on the stand and risk losing everything?
Maybe not with money, but maybe with certain connections. You never know. Okay. I just from the beginning they say he didn't fire the He didn't discharge the firearm. It was the female, and now it's back on him. There's it's just there's too many holes. Way too many holes in the story.
I don't really feel like it's too many holes in the story.
And that dude, Sean Kelly, the witness, he said that he saw Megan, Kelsey with the gun first, or the flash come by Kelsey, and then the two dudes, the bodyguard or Troy's bodyguard, and Troy hopped out the car to then break up the fight. And that's what he said to the defense. He went to the prosecution, and then that's what he said. He saw Tory shooting up in the air, and then it came back around when the defense asked him again, and he said again, yeah, I saw the one with the flash. So he was saying that on the stand, that he saw Kelsey shoot the gun first. Like, he was saying that. Wasn't just like he said that back 2020.
So I go by may the best man win. So I feel like Tory know damn well he shot that gun. Instead of him worried about proving that he's not guilty when he should have been the one that did what Kelsey did and went to them folks and
the reason why
what can y'all do for me? I can't get mad because Kelsey got to it before he did. That's his dumb ass. I would not have tried to convince people.
You gotta
let me finish, Rush. When you're talking, I let you finish, so you got to let me finish, okay? I don't like that. Let's all be respectful and get our points out. The issue is this. No, I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm listening to what I'm saying. I'm saying the eyewitness, well, you said the eyewitness statement, that is what I'm speaking on. At the end of the day, once Tory discharged that weapon, we keep arguing about, did it hit Megan? You know, did it graze her foot? We're not going to sit here and say that, oh, this rich Beverly Hills neighbor got paid off. What I really want to see here is really just the acknowledgement that at the end of the day, Tory caused this situation, got himself in the situation. He hasn't been sentenced yet. Okay, so we can argue and say he should not have been guilty on all 3 charges. That's fair. That's fine. But the bigger issue I see here is that we are not giving any accountability to Tory, that he literally put himself in this situation. If I'm a woman and a man says, I have a hotel room at 3 o'clock in the morning, I want you to come up here and come hang out with me and play Uno. If I actually show up to this hotel room at 3 a.m. and this man R's me, do I hold any responsibility to say, girl, now come on, was he right for R'ing you? But why the hell would you go in this man's hotel room at 3 a.m. and believe you're about to play Uno? So am I saying that Tory deserves to get railroaded in the system? Am I saying that he deserves to lose everything? I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is, come on, my nigga. You out here instigating fights with these big ass stallions in the middle of Beverly Hills. You are pitting these women against each other. And we know that's true because he tweeted on the internet while this trial was still to commence and said, I'm in this situation because I got good dick. And none of us are saying, at the end of the day, Tory, you're on your fucking own because you are so retarded. I don't know why you put yourself in this situation. I just want to see more of that. Like I said, if it was a woman that pit 2 men against each other, no one would have an issue blaming the woman and saying she put the battery in the man's back. When Will slapped Jada, when Will slapped Chris, I'm sorry, they said it was Jada's fault. Jada put that battery in his back. So Tory cannot sit and put the battery in the back of these women and not hold any accountability for the crazy outcome that happened. At the end of the day, all y'all can say what you want, but had it been you at that party, okay, and a bullet could have possibly hit you, y'all would be the first ones like, oh, hell no, lock that nigga up. Cannot stand these Pookie Ray Ray with these syndromes and these anger problems, willing to risk everybody for their own ego. That is what would be happening. But now all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, there's all these excuses for Tory. Well, at the end of the day, that's a grown-ass man. He's responsible for himself and what he does. If we as the community don't at least hold that person accountable, how can we get mad when the system do? If the men around him, his peers, make excuses for him, well, then, yeah, you have no choice but to go to the system to hold him accountable. Nobody cares why he discharged the weapon. Y'all can say that the eyewitness statement is not enough. I feel like it is. He's saying he saw Tory. At the end of the day, I know this. If Tory was innocent, that driver and that bodyguard would have testified and made sure that man, if they possibly risk this man going to prison by not coming forward and saying that he is innocent, then that tells me he did it. He did it, and as men, they're trying to avoid the stand because they don't want to have to tell them, yes, Tory did discharge that firearm. Had he not discharged that firearm, they would have said so. I just want to see us hold each other accountable more so the system doesn't have to. That's why me as a woman was the first one to say, Megan, you off code, you doing the most, and you are leading women to the road to hell. You're telling women not to listen to men, do what you want, but you lying and capping because then when somebody asks you, did you fuck that nigga? You talking about you rather die than say yes. So if I as a woman can hold the woman accountable and say, girl, you look so slow telling all these men they can't tell you what to do. Now you crying to them same men talk about protect me and go into their same system to try to get justice. It don't work like that. But I wanted to see, I'm a little disappointed because I wanted to see more of that for the men on Tory's behalf. On Tory, you're the man in this situation. You could have avoided all of this. You had the most to lose out of everyone there. The black man with the most money and the highest status. And Tory got humbled today to realize, baby, this is America. I know you're not from here, but let's go ahead and let you know what it is. All that starting fights between bitches in Beverly Hills, you can't do that. You won't get out of there. Them police be at the bottom of that mountain waiting on you. LA is not set up like that for the dumb shit. And that's all I wanted to say is, let's not let this situation be a divide or men versus women. Let's go ahead and come forward and say, everybody involved in this incident wasn't shit. But at the end of the day, if you draw the number one rule of a weapon, if you draw it, you're drawing it to kill, period. When you own a firearm, anybody who's into firearms knows that. You don't never pull that weapon unless you are about to lay somebody down. End of story. So that's why Tory discharging that weapon, even if it was to empty the clip to save everybody, he deserves to be accountable for that. That was uncalled for. If Kelsey played the game and she came forward and told them, listen, I did it. What deal can you give me? While Tory was too busy trying to say, I'm completely innocent, then that's on him. He should have stopped being so delusional and said, I know damn well I discharged that weapon. Let me just ask for a deal. So not only after the cops came, after everything came, even in this trial, Tory would have had the opportunity to ask for a deal, work something out, but he was adamant on saying, I'm innocent. Nigga, if you know you did, you better go ahead and talk to them folks and figure out what they can do for you. Now we will know at sentencing, that's when shit will actually get real. Right now, him being found guilty, this could go many different ways. Okay. Now, well, when sentencing comes, that's when we can go ahead and start the conversation about the system. Because they try to give him, I don't believe he deserved no 25 years over this shit.
I want to comment on something real quick.
Go ahead.
Now, as far as that Will Smith and Chris Rock situation, I say Will Smith and Jada should have been held accountable. Will Smith had no business slapping Chris Rock over some joke that he told about his wife. But at the same time, Jada should have had the common decency to step up and tell Will, no, it's not worth it. It was just a joke. Don't go up there and attack him. So I hold both of them responsible. You know, in that old situation, both should have been held accountable.
Yeah, and I agree with that. That's why I think that Tory should be held accountable, that he should have been diffusing the fight between them instead of starting it. You know, so
right, but you know how that go down. Anytime you see two women fighting, your best bet is to stay out of it. And I remember somebody said, what would have happened if Tory had to stay out of it? What would have happened if he didn't get involved? Some knucklehead gonna say, oh, well, he's not a real man because real men protect women. Real men have to stop this kind of stuff. Somebody would have said something like that. So of course he wasn't going to stick his nose where it didn't belong.
But he started the altercation. Hello.
Okay. So he's the one who instigated it. But I'll admit Tory Lanez does got issues. Because what business do you have instigating a fight between two women on the side? I think he got sloppy in regards. If you're going to deal with two women at the same time, deal with them properly or don't deal with them at all. And we all know how Meg Thee Stallion, I don't know her person, but we know Meg Thee Stallion is not a good option for a wife or a girlfriend to deal with her accordingly. I think he just got sloppy pitting these two women against each other. That's why I think the accountability for him comes in. You're going to pit these two ratchet women against each other over some stupid stuff. You know something going to pop off. No, that's why I think he should be held responsible. But to say he's guilty in this situation, even though there's no evidence to back it up, I know the man got a violent past. Yes, he needs therapy. He needs an ass whooping. We can all agree on that. But to sit there and say,
it's a violent present, though. It's not a violent past. He's currently violent.
Well, like I said, the man needs therapy. The man needs therapy. The man needs help. He needs an ass whooping. We can all agree. But does that mean he did this specifically? Does that mean he's guilty of this specific situation? We don't know. There's not enough evidence to back it up. And they keep saying that his fingerprints was not on the weapon. It was a woman, so it had to be the Meg or the other woman. So I'm not understanding what's going on here. I'm just as confused as everybody else. Like, why?
I'm not confused. I think it actually all makes sense. But the difference is, you know, I think that he definitely, when he gets sentenced, that's when the truth is going to get told. I think that for him discharging that weapon, I'd be okay with him getting between maybe like maybe 4 or 5 years for that would suffice for me, for risking everybody's life in the area. I'm telling y'all now, don't trust me. Because if you discharge a weapon around me for any reason, baby, I'm making sure your ass go down, period. I don't give a fuck if it's because you was trying to stop this. I don't give a fuck if it's because, well, I was mad at this person and they said this. I take extreme offense if you discharge a weapon in my presence, and I take that as you don't care about my life. You know, so some people can feel differently about that. To me, I don't. Go ahead, Eugene.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing fine. You know, I don't know much about this case. You know, I heard he found guilty in all things. But let me say one thing that could have completely avoided this whole situation. You should have left that gun at home.
Period.
Leave it at home. I mean, I own a gun, but I don't take it with me. I don't have a reason to take it with me.
I mean, it depends on where you're going. Like, I prefer, you know, have that thing on you most times, but not in the goddamn Beverly Hills where it's one way in, one way out, and you a felon.
Right. And
You know what I'm saying?
right. And that's more to this situation. I mean, from my understanding, Kelsey was actually the one going for the gun first, right?
I mean, that's what they're saying.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for what it sounds like, you know, Kelsey was getting the gun, you know, Tory was trying to stop it, and gun went off. But if he would have left that gun at home, none of it would have happened. Mm-hmm. None of it.
Sometimes you gotta have that thing on you, because sometimes niggas be acting stupid. But my thing is, if you do have that thing on you, you gotta know the rules. And the rules is you pull it, you gotta use it. It ain't no joke to pull no gun. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean by, if Tory know that he had a part in holding on to that gun, he should have been the first one going to them folk and being like, all right, you got me. What can you do for me? But I think that he was, again, that you just see that ego all on him. That ego all on him. He thought that he could somehow get a not guilty verdict. Like, the fact he even took this to trial, I definitely would have went ahead and did a plea deal on that. You know, go ahead and sign me up for some probation or some house arrest or something like that. The fact that he took this to trial, that nigga crazy. Ain't no way in hell. I would have been like, all right, so how you want to do this? What you thinking? Maybe 3 years in prison, 5 years probation. What you want to do? But that arrogance and that ego in him is taking him down.
Exactly.
You know, y'all don't make comments like this if you don't want to come up and explain why. I'm starting to wonder about y'all. You talk about you started wondering about me. I'm starting to wonder about y'all, why y'all can't be objective in a situation. I'm starting to be worried about y'all, the black men, where you just want black men to always be right. I'm worried about black women where they just immediately take the black woman's side. That's why when this whole thing went down, I didn't come forward talking about believe all black women, protect all black women. I believe Megan. I ain't say a damn thing. I was like, that bitch could be lying. I don't know what the hell that bitch did. You know what I'm saying? I don't get why y'all can't just be objective and non-biased towards it. Why, just because you a black man, are you trying to somehow justify this black man's actions? Just because I'm a black woman, I'm not finna sit here and be like, oh, what Meg did doesn't matter. Hell yeah, that shit matters, because her acting the way she acting is the reason why that type of behavior always gonna lead to a problem. So it's the lack of being objective for me. It's that y'all just want to find a way to justify the shit because it's black man and black man. That's weird to me, because them type of black man, they're gonna be at the next barbecue that you at. And he gonna be the one getting emotional and grabbing guns. And then y'all will be the first ones mad if it's your child that get hit or you that get hit due to dangerous, emotional man like Tory Lanez. All of a sudden, we gonna sit here. There is no phone number. There's a link. There is a link pinned at the top that you click if you want to come on. We're gonna go on here for a little bit, then we're gonna get off. You don't gotta call. It's a link that you tap up there. Okay. At the end of the day, when there's niggas at a party and that dumb nigga that pull out the gun and start shooting and end up killing an innocent kid or killing somebody else, y'all be mad. But all of a sudden in this situation now, all of a sudden it's like, oh, I've asked the question several times. Do y'all think that if Tory truly was innocent, do you think the driver and the bodyguard would have testified that he's innocent?
From my understanding, I believe so.
I believe he would have. I don't think
Yeah.
them men would have sat there and let Tory go down for something he didn't do. I think if all they had to do was come forward and testify and say he did not do it, he is innocent, they would have done that. The fact that they played dead on this tells me he did it. I mean, I don't get why this is so hard for people to like understand. I don't. It don't make no sense to me, child. I don't get it.
Right. It so reminds me of the C murder situation. You know, Master P's brother, C murder.
Yeah.
You know, C murder's in jail for, something, but the bouncers in the club, at first have not said anything about it. They were a witness, and then years later they're gonna turn around and said, C murder didn't do it. That still didn't help him. And I think Tory's gonna. I think Tory might be in that same situation.
You think so?
I don't know. I got a feeling. I just got a feeling.
Well, I have a feeling that he definitely did it, and I have a feeling that that is not the case. I have a feeling that, we're talking about a driver and a bodyguard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're basically, they're not saying that they're the ones that touched the weapon. I don't think that, even if the people testified for C murder and it didn't help, they still testified. But I'm not going to sit there and say that these other Black men know that that man is 100% innocent and they not going to come forward and say that. I just don't believe that. I think he definitely guilty, and they just trying to play dead. I don't know if he paid them off or what. Who knows? Thank you for the super chat, Will. Will says, if I was Tory and she asked me my height, I would have. Shut up, Will. You is a hot mess. Tory got that little man syndrome. Didn't he admit it in his own text messages? I have to look back at the text messages, but I think that it was something like he just said he's sorry, but I don't remember if they said that he said what he's sorry for. I don't know. If somebody has that information, let me know, but I'm not sure. But anyway, thank you so much, Eugene.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I want to say that, and I said this on another site. I said Alpha Juice, D6's beverage of choice.
Yes, Lord. You see it over here.
Yeah, I see it over here. I see it on Danika's site as well.
Yeah, they about to get a whole bunch of more people on deck. We getting our health in order and everything like that.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you having me.
Thanks for coming on, Eugene. You have a good one.
You too now.
Let's say come in. Did you ever watch like the case while it was going on? Like who they were saying whose gun it was?
I watched bits and pieces of it.
And when they left and came back, she went back and went and got trouble. True or not? Or she should have just left him in the pool with old girl. Or did she go back to return to get trouble?
So what is the point that you're trying to make in that?
It seemed like, pretty much what they were saying that Tory Lanez was pretty much the one that provoked it. Yeah, he probably provoked it once he got in the car to where he was made to leave. He was trying to stay with that damn white woman. So she went back and picked up trouble.
Well, see, that's the whole problem, is that he has multiple women that he's dealing with, and he's trying to, pit them against each other and put batteries in their backs.
But Megan knew that Megan the one who hooked her and him up. So Megan knew that. So how did he put a battery in Megan back if she automatically already knew that her homegirl was messing with her, then went behind her back and messed with the boy, and then turned around and went to go back to go get a sandal that she so-called left because she was trying to get this boy out of the pool. She should have left him with that white woman. She put a battery in her own back and went back.
I feel like you're yelling a little bit.
Yeah, they told me to get on here. I'm gonna get on here. She went and picked up trouble herself. She went back and picked up the devil out that pool. She put a battery in her own back. She could have left that slipper there. She could have left that boy alone, knowing well that her homegirl was messing with him first. She the one who hooked him up. So she went back behind her homegirl and went double back to the white lady house to pick him up to pick up trouble. That boy didn't put no battery.
Okay. Are you talking at me or are you looking to talk with me?
I don't know. Whoever was talking about me get on here or this or that or that or this. I'm gonna get on here and I'm gonna tell you how I feel about it. She went and picked up trouble. So he didn't put no battery in her back. He didn't force her to have sex with him after he was already smashing the homegirl. She did that on her own. Once she figured out and she didn't tell her homegirl that he was smashing both of them, she got offended when she said he was finna smash the white girl. So she said, oh no, he ain't finna smash all three of us. Oh no, I'm finna go back and I'm finna stop this. She should have left trouble in the pool. She put that battery in her own back. So how you word things, I'm a man of words. It depends on how you word things. ED or ER or apostrophe S will change a sentence. A sentence will change. Anything, a sentence, a paragraph, or whatever, change totally what a person is saying. So how you say things it can change stuff, you know. So I mean, with a person saying he putting a battery in her back, that's giving them a space where they don't have no accountability.
Well, I mean, he admitted it. He said all of this, I'm in this situation because I have good D. So he admitted that he kind of is an ego stroke for him to have these women fighting because of him. He admitted that he is the reason for the fighting.
Yes, afterwards, he's like, okay, I'm already in trouble now. I was trying to smash the white girl, and they wouldn't let me do it in peace. So, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and do what I do. Since you already messy, you already know what you're doing, you ain't going to let me sit back and smash the white girl in peace, then I'm going to do what I do. She went back and picked up trouble.
Well, if he knows that he's sleeping with these women, you know, all men know this. If you're at a party and a woman come there that you sleeping with, you already know. You can't have the girl you sleeping with over here, then be whispering in this girl ear trying to get with her. That is putting a battery in the women's back. You know damn well what that's.
Okay, but who called? I'm sorry.
If I'm with a guy that I'm sleeping with,
damn well that her friend was already smashing before she did, and then she turned around and called Tory to come over there with her and her friend.
Okay, I want us to be able to have, I feel like you're just like yelling at me, but the goal here is for us to have, you know, discourse. So something that I want you to understand here is, I'm going to put it in as me as in this situation to help it make more sense. So if me and you bring me to a party with you, I'm there, you know, me and you are dealing with each other. And then I get there and I start trying to get with another guy there. And I'm telling him, oh, you're so much better than my date. And I go back to you and I say, that nigga said he can take me from you right now. He said he ain't worried about you. That's called, I am the root of the problem. So I know you're saying that they was all swapping and sharing, but at the end of the day, if Tory know he's sleeping with that woman and she's right there, you can't sit there and be whispering the next bitch ear and be trying to get with her. And that is literally asking for it. So I want you to understand that. You're saying that, oh, her friends were sharing. I mean, that may be the case. My point I'm trying to make to you is that Tory is, at the end of the day, he is the root of the problem here. And he admitted that himself by saying that, oh, my peen is how I got in this situation. So I don't understand.
You want to mute me? I'm not gonna get mad about no female. Like,
I think you're cutting out. You said what? I'm sorry.
Don't get mad at no dude. I'm gonna wait till it's my turn. If you messing with or dealing with him today, hey, call me and let me know when it's my turn.
Okay, so do you think that typically women hold that same sentiment? Let me ask you this. Would you go to LA and be in the Beverly Hills and have, a bunch of different women you're sleeping with? Would you sit and be sleeping with one and trying to get with the other one in her face in this rich white neighborhood in Beverly Hills in LA at 1 o'clock in the morning? Would you have done that?
I mean, if that's what everybody, and if that was the type of person that I was, then I'm gonna play along with the game. If a female know that I'm dealing around and then give it to me when her homegirl go home sick, then I'm gonna feel like that's what goes on in this circle. Everybody's having sex with that white chick. And she turned around and picked up trouble. It just is what it is.
So the answer is that you would do that? Because your phone kind of keep cutting out. So the short answer is yes, you would do that.
My phone is breaking up, so I can't even really just hear what you're saying. I'm getting like in pieces.
Well, I was saying, so long story short, you're saying yes, you would do that.
Say what?
So the answer to my question is yes, you would have done what Tory did.
I don't get down like that, you know? You was asking the question was what?
The question was, would you go to a rich white neighborhood in Beverly Hills and sit and whisper in the ear of another woman you're trying to sleep with while the woman you're currently sleeping with is right
Breaking
there?
up, I can't hear the question that you asking me.
That's the question I'm asking. You might have to come out and come back in because I don't know, something's wrong with the Wi-Fi. The point is this, y'all, we can't do this game of like black women. Every time some things happen, y'all be quick to be like, believe all black women. Bullshit. That bitch might be lying too, and which that bitch was. Okay. As black women, you can't sit there and say that just because somebody is a black woman that automatically you're going to take their side, automatically they're right. Okay. When this type of situation come down, especially from someone like Megan, who notoriously has said that everybody need to go ahead and kiss her ass and can't nobody tell her what to do, you can't have that bitch get into an altercation and then be talking about believe her. No. Okay. You need to wait and, look at the situation, pull the evidence, statements, all that good stuff and get it figured out. That's the whole point. It goes the same with men. I understand it's a sensitive subject for brothers, possibly getting railroaded and having unfair sentences and things like that. But at the end of the day, you cannot just say that because this is a black man that I'm going to sit and condone their behavior or that I'm going to sit and make excuses for their behavior, because you can't pick and choose with this. If y'all going to be out here saying that black people need to stop killing each other, and if you as a black man, everywhere you go around town, feel like you got to have that thing on you just in case a man that look like you try to kill you, that is a problem. So when we see males that exhibit the behavior that leads to them discharging weapons and being emotional and being impulsive, if we know what that leads to, you cannot just say that, oh, well, he's a black man, so therefore this is about bringing a black man down. We don't have to internalize everything that one of us does. White people have committed genocide and colonization all around the world, and we're still not allowed to say that they're all that way. Okay? White people have been the only ones to commit genocide and colonization all around the world. And yet and still, we still present day have to make disclaimers for them by saying, not all white people. I know not all white people, but we got to still do that. So we're allowed to be able to say, in this situation, Tory was wrong. He put himself in a situation. This whole thing could have been avoided. I don't know what the hell you thought was going to happen. Instigating fights between two 6-foot-tall stallions in Beverly Hills, where there's one way in, one way out, up on these little ass mountain roads. I mean, I'm sorry. And if we as a community are going to say that just because we like somebody or because they're a music artist that they suddenly are exempt from the rules, then what are we going to do? You know, we have to be able to be objective when it comes to this. We can't just keep being reactive and keep damning our own people to hell, saying, oh, Black people always kill each other. Okay, when you have that Tory, prototype, that Tory archetype type dude, always jumping off the hinges, always doing the most, having a syndrome, being messy, starting drama. I mean, we have to let a man that make them decisions stand on his own 2 feet. Everybody, I saw Tory Lanez daddy outside the courthouse blaming everybody. Tory Lanez daddy literally was like, this is Jay-Z's fault, sir. Your son instigated a fight amongst 2 big bitches in Beverly Hills in the middle of the night while he was extremely intoxicated and had drugs. He on drugs, they on drugs present. How the fuck is this Jay-Z's fault? If we allow them to not have accountability, I mean, where is that going to leave us? Like, I'm not really understanding, like, the refusal to acknowledge this. Jupes, go ahead. Okay. Sharad, did you want to finish your statement from earlier? I don't know if your phone was messing up a little bit.
Yeah, my phone, the signal is.
It's still not working.
Yeah, I ain't know where a good router is. But yeah, I just like, man, she wouldn't pick up trouble. Merry Christmas. Or Happy New Year's. Yeah. I got a 95 too. Impala. Hello?
Uh-huh.
6. Yeah. I'm just like, just for saying, like, I mean, she picked up trouble. She actually was the one who actually started. She should have never snaked her homegirl like that. And then when she seen what type of dude he was because, he dealt with her after dealing with her homegirl. And then when she seen that he was going to deal with old girl, she was like, oh, no, you're not finna do that. So she turned around and went and picked up trouble. So that man, he didn't put no battery in her back. She did that to herself. And whatever he did, he got to be held accountable for it. But he didn't put no battery in her back. She was moving on her own. She was doing all the moving while her homegirl was in Texas. When she left and then had the person go back to go get the sandal, he didn't convince her to do that. She did that on her own. That's all I was saying.
So you're saying that because she shared peen with her homegirl, that she should not have got mad that Tory was trying to get with another woman in front of her?
No, she shouldn't have got mad. You know how you gonna get mad if you ain't mad? If it ain't hurt your feelings to go behind your homegirl's back, then how it's gonna hurt you? It wasn't about her homegirl. It was just about her feelings. She didn't care about her homegirl. She only cared about how it was gonna make her feel that.
It wasn't her homegirl though.
Yeah, the one that was in the pool wasn't her homegirl, but the Kelsey chick was her homegirl. Long as she was smashing behind Kelsey back, she didn't care. But once he finished smash somebody else on her, then at that point it became a problem for her. You don't think that's toxic on Megan's behalf or Patty on her behalf?
No, that's not how it went down. That's not how it went down. Kylie was not her homegirl. Okay, how it went down is she got mad because Tory was trying to get with Kylie, and in the middle of that argument blowing up, that's when Tory comes forward and says, oh, I don't know why you trying to help her because she been trying to get with the guys you get with. Like he quite literally instigated the entire fight.
Yeah, he actually was with the Kelsey chick first, wasn't he? Her homegirl, the assistant.
Right. That's not what initiated the fight that night. What initiated the fight that night was him trying to get with Kylie in front of her. And in the midst of that fight, I believe it was Kelsey trying to stand up for her friend. And Tory is like, well, I don't know why you're trying to stand up for her because, I slept with her too. And she's sleeping behind you too.
Yeah, I mean, so why even get mad? Why be in your feelings and you doing it behind your homegirl's back? At least, you know what I'm saying? He gonna do it. He did it in her face. Me, that's how I am. Don't do nothing behind me, behind my back that you wouldn't do in my face. If I'm gonna do something to you, I'm gonna do it in your face in HD. I'm not gonna sneak behind you and do it. Females be being sneaky, and then her home, or he pretty much called her out and made her pretty much be accountable. At that point, then it's a problem.
Okay, well, I mean, that's your opinion. Thank you for coming on, my brother. I appreciate you.
All right now.
You have a good one. Nia, you got something you want to add on the subject? Are you muted? Nia, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How you doing?
Hi, I love your show.
Thank you for coming on. We vamping tonight. We late night tonight. Everybody
Yeah.
cold as hell in the house, bored.
Yeah. The trial actually shocked me because I thought it was going to be a mistrial. I did not think that
Me too.
he was actually going to get charged because her lawyers were really trash. And then Kelsey, she was being petty and she basically took back everything she said. I mean, she's the one who called the cops. She's the one who admitted that Tory shot her. And because she was so jealous and vicious, she really allowed this whole trial to last longer than it did. She actually could have came out of this the hero.
And that's interesting because they're saying that the other part of the tea is that apparently Kelsey is affiliated with someone else that Megan has a lawsuit with. And that's why I thought it was going to come to a mistrial. I'm like, the bodyguard missing, motherfuckers don't want to testify. Like, I was like, oh Lord, they were saying
Kelsey is married to someone
with him or something like that. So I'm like, oh Lord.
Kelsey, I heard, is married to someone on her old record label, and know she's trying like to. Yeah, she's still tied. She's in that 360 deal, so she's tied to 1501, and then she's also tied to Rock Nation. So Meg don't got no money.
Yeah. That's why I was laughing when they said
I was very shocked.
See, that's why I was laughing when they was like, oh, Meg might have paid them off. I'm like, with what money she paid them off with?
She don't got no money.
That's why I'm like, how did she pay them off? What? Please tell me what money Megan Thee Stallion used to pay these people off to lie for her.
I feel like
you know
this
what I'm
is
saying? They talk about Megan probably paid the bodyguard off and the driver off so that they wouldn't testify. With what money? If anybody paid anybody off, Tory's got to pay somebody off. Megan ain't got no money to pay off nobody.
Yep. I feel like this is a loss for both of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Megan is
like everybody lost, everybody dumb in that situation, everybody lied, and everybody ain't shit in the situation. That's just what it is.
Yeah, her brand is tarnished.
Oh yeah.
Not only is she a snitch, but forget that whole protect black women thing. Like you're a terrible person.
And I don't like that protect all black women shit. I don't like that shit.
No,
because
some of them are dumb.
Me, we're not taking baby steps here. The first baby step is for black women to have a respect for black men. Start there. Okay. Yep. You ain't got to protect nobody who don't have respect for you. That's step one. We would have to have a universal respect for our men before we be talking about protect all black women. That's step one. Step two is you cannot sit and be telling women that we can do whatever we want to, and then that somebody else should bear the consequence and someone else should save us from ourselves. That's also a problem. That whole protect black women thing means that there's a lack of accountability, that black women want to come forward to be able to say, I want to be able to do whatever I want to do, and y'all better come forward and save me when it goes left.
Yeah. Did you catch the part where she came out and said that she was embarrassed that her sex life was getting drugged and her man was getting embarrassed, partisan?
Yeah.
I was like, girl, like it's shocking because I was like, this is what you rap about.
Come on.
Ain't this your brand? Don't you talk about tricking men out of their money and taking men from women and doing all of this? She's
Come
living
on.
the life that she raps about. Like, why are people shocked about that? This is the type of person she is. She laid it all out for you. This is who she is. She drives the boat. She gets drunk. She's the hot girl. She's sleeping with your man. She's taking your man. She raps about that.
Come on. That's why I'm saying, like, hold on now. That's fucked up. So you're out here promoting this lifestyle to other Black women, but you capping the whole time. You really are disgusted by what you're doing. But not only are you doing it, but you're trying to recruit other women to come to hell with you.
Yeah.
That's what I have a problem with. When she talking about that bitch says she would rather die than have to say she fucked that nigga.
Yep.
If you slept with a man where you'd rather die than tell people you slept with him, I don't know what to tell you.
And then what made it,
that's just next level. And you know you ain't shit. That bitch says she'd rather be dead than have to admit she fucked that nigga. God damn.
Not only did she sleep with Tory Lanez behind Kelsey's back, but also the baby and Ben Simmons.
Yeah, like ew.
Behind her friend. Like,
disgusting.
I heard that Kelsey was actually helping her with her homework. That's what made it. That's what took me out, because she was on tour and stuff, and her friend was trying to help her with the stuff. You know, it was a whole lot of stuff going back and forth on the internet. I'm glad it's put to rest, but it just goes to show you that all of them are trash.
They all trash.
Yeah.
Every single last one of them are trash. But the truth is that Tory Lanez had the most to lose out of everyone there.
He did.
You are the Black man there with the most status, the most money. And the fact that he was the one there with the most to lose, but acting the most retarded, I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, he a grown-ass man. And I'm not going to sit here and say that, oh, he don't deserve what's happened. I'm just not going to say that. At the end of the day, who the fuck is going to go into the middle of Beverly Hills and do all that?
Who's going to go to a party and flirt with a girl when you know you having sex with two other girls at?
That's what I'm saying. And then a white girl on top of that. Like, come on now. That is the starter kit of how to start some shit. You as a Black man, you're sleeping with two Black women that they may or may not know you're sleeping with both of them. And then you go over to a white woman and whisper in her ear and try to get with her in front of them. Be for real.
Who has a man?
Set this shit on fire. And then you surprised when you got to sit back and watch it all burn down. Like, get out of here.
Everybody knows that Meg she's the hot girl. She gets crazy. She ready to buck. She ready to fight. She drives the boat. She made the saying drive the boat. When you sit there and take a bunch of alcohol and you pour it down somebody's throat at the party, that's Meg. She invented to drive the boat.
Come on.
And you thought that you were gonna flirt with another girl in front of her?
Yeah.
When she's that intoxicated, and then her friend's there, who you're also with.
But I do believe that yes, it being a white girl, fuck yes, that do add fuel to the fire.
Yeah.
It do add, because there's already niggas already are acting like they don't already know the natural beef between Black and white women that already exists. Okay.
Yeah, and then
it does make it even worse that it was a white woman on top of that. I also, again, I look at the entirety of the situation. When I saw Tory tweeting about how it's because his peeing is so good of why this is happening. When I saw Tory Lanez had his child at that court case in order to be a shield for himself and gain mercy and sympathy, that you are willing to traumatize your child permanently to save yourself, that told me everything I need to know about him.
Before Christmas too.
Pay attention to the bigger signs here. Tory was wrong. Men like Tory are dangerous. All these niggas complaining about how Black people need to stop killing each other. Niggas like Tory are the ones killing you. It doesn't matter because he's famous. When I seen that nigga brought that little boy in there, I said, this nigga is disgusting.
And he did it before Christmas.
Before Christmas.
Why?
They read him as guilty. They said the baby was crying. That child is never going to be the same after seeing that. Why the fuck would you have that baby in there? because you're a selfish bastard and you want to save yourself. Now we're all supposed to act like Tory Lanez, the biggest liability of a nigger we've ever seen, the exact type of emotional men that are dangerous to our society. Now all of a sudden we saying, well, there's he's not wrong here. Okay.
No, he's an idiot.
He's an idiot.
That's just point blank, period. The facts were, you had a gun that you had no business carrying, and then you shot it off 5 times. What comes up must go down. It hit her foot. Now it's assault. It is what it is. That's the facts. These white people don't care about what led up to it and that Meg, you was cheating and all that. No, they care about the facts. Those are the facts. You're going to jail.
Period. I mean, I don't get it. Why is this hard? And again, I'm telling you right now, Nia, everybody's saying that because they were not there. I am telling y'all right now, had it been them at that party and that gun would have went off in their presence and they would have sat there like, wow, this motherfucker really discharged this weapon 5 times and could have killed all of us out here. If it was them there and that nigga would have shot that gun off, they would not have gave a damn about why. There is literally an eyewitness statement saying that they saw Tory shoot that gun. Yeah. What more needs to be said? They saying they saw Kelsey shoot the gun. Kelsey knew that. That's why she was the first one to get in there and ask for a deal.
Yeah, right. I plead the fifth.
Maybe a little immunity. That's what Tory should have did instead of being delusional. That nigga was so delusional. You actually let this shit go to trial. You slow as hell. You know damn well you should have copped the plea deal.
And the crazy thing was, Meg was actually keeping her mouth shut. He just wouldn't stop.
Let's talk about that aspect.
She said, "Glass hit my foot. I was trying to protect us." This was during George Floyd. Kelsey didn't say anything. You was bragging about it.
Because let me tell you something. I would have did the same thing. I'm not finna be in Beverly Hills around these white folks, and then these cops show up, and I'm like, hell yeah, we all out here shooting. Of course, fuck yes, that might get us all laid out right here.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's what I'm trying to tell people. I can tell a lot of people ain't never been in this situation. If you've been in this situation, the statements that people give at the scene are always different than the statement they give on the stand. Always. Mm-hmm. When that adrenaline is rushing and you're in a fight or flight status, and half of the time you blacked out, your brain even thinking clearly, yes, that may be different than what you say when you're on a stand at risk of perjuring yourself and going to prison.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So everyone's like, oh, Meg lied. And that bitch sure enough did lie. But I'm not going to say that it's not plausible that if we're in the middle of these white folks' neighborhood, of why we would be hesitant to tell them that we have a gun. Now all of a sudden we acting like we can't figure out why that would be a thing.
Yeah.
Let's just look at the situation step by step. Let's start with the root of the problem. And whenever we're trying to find a solution to something, start with the root. The root of the problem was Tory. He is the reason for the altercation. He could have kept it playa and been like, I know I got these 2 crazy bitches here I'm fucking with. I probably shouldn't be trying to give another girl more attention or try to take another girl home in front of her. I already know every man on this planet knows that. You have men on this planet where they with a girl they sleeping with, they see another girl, they play dead like they don't even see her. They might not even talk to the bitch like, hey, I'm with this bitch, I'm fucking her, so please don't come over here with the bullshit. Not this dumbass. This dumbass leaves the 2 black women and go to a white woman and start trying to get with her. Nigga, come on now. Why would you do that?
So and Meg was going to play her role. That's the thing. Meg was going to play her role. She was the side piece. I mean, she's a terrible friend.
Terrible friend.
She's a terrible friend, terrible person. But 2 things could be right at the same time. So that's just what it is.
Being objective here. Now, again, I don't have a problem with Tory getting that guilty verdict. What I will have a problem with is if they try to give him 20 years. He deserves to spend no more than 5 years in prison for that.
Yeah. I don't feel like he
So,
should know,
no, I
because
don't think
I
so.
don't feel like if he shot it up and the bullets came down, that's not a direct hit. But at the
Right.
end of the day, you were not supposed to have that gun. Period.
No, you should. He should not have even touched that gun.
It should
Even
have been on security.
it should have been on a security lock. Even if Kelsey did pick that gun up,
Yeah.
that is not the way you disarm a firearm from somebody.
Mm-mm.
Like, if you're gonna be the one to try to disarm a firearm from someone and reach for it, you better actually know how to disarm somebody with a firearm in their hand. So what he's trying to say is that the reason why he discharged the clip is because he was trying to empty the bullets out so that Kelsey couldn't shoot anybody. But if you touch a gun, it's your job to be educated on it. Nobody cares that you didn't know. Nobody cares. If you touch a gun, you need to be educated on what it's going to be, and this is why you don't allow these situations to escalate. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit here and say that Tory deserves not guilty, that he don't deserve to go to jail. He definitely deserves to go to jail. Everybody's saying they don't know if he discharged the gun. To me, an eyewitness statement is good enough that, yes, that nigga did. I truly believe that bodyguard and the driver, if Tory was innocent and did not shoot that gun, I believe they would have said that.
Yeah, even Kelsey said in her first interview that he shot her. I saw it.
Right.
And then she got on stage and was acting like boo-boo the fool, like she didn't know what was going on. I was like, girl, over peen?
Come on.
Like, even if I didn't like you, like,
come on.
I'm not going to let someone shoot you and then get off like that. Like, because that's just not who I was. That's what I said. Kelsey could have just been the hero. She really could have been the hero.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, Meg's career is never going to be the same. No one's going to trust her people are not messing with Meg. Even if she was a victim, what got revealed in court was just a lot.
Yeah.
Like, you're not the girl that we thought you were, or what people thought you were. Like, I knew you on shit, but other people thought you were.
She full of cap. She full of cap, period. Jukes, did you have something you wanted to add?
Oh, yes, I did have something that I wanted to add. Just some quick commentary to the conversation. So once I first heard about the entire case, the first thing that came to my mind, being a political science major, which is basically like studying the law, that why does Tory have a gun that is not registered if he has a bodyguard? Like, normally bodyguards have a FOI card, which is a card to legally carry a firearm, or a concealed carry license. Why does his bodyguard not have that? Why does Tory have an unregistered gun? So in my head, I automatically think that this man is obviously comfortable being a menace to society, because having an unregistered gun means that you plan, whether that is intentionally or unintentionally, you are planning to commit a crime and get away with said crime, because that the bullets in the gun are not in any ballistic system to register it to the owner. So it's basically a ghost gun. So you can, with ghost guns, you can commit a crime and just, get rid of the gun and no one will know who the gun belongs to. So I'm like, why are you a felon, not even a citizen of this country, and you're a felon in this country, and you have an unregistered gun with security?
Let's speak on that.
That makes no sense at all. That just makes no sense. And then my second question, my final, not question, but just thought I had, why wouldn't you just empty the clip of the gun? He was trying to be
not by shooting it, but by releasing it from the bottom of the clip and let them fall out.
Yes, that is very easy to do. If you've ever handled a firearm, you would know that the clip, I know on Glock 19s, it's just a small button on the side, and you can just pull that down, that'll empty out the whole clip. Why would you shoot in the air in Beverly Hills knowing that
Come
police
on.
are going to come. You're
Come
already a
on.
felon. You have an
Come
unregistered
on.
gun. So why would you want to attract more attention to yourself? If it was a fight with Megan and Kelsey, that could have, you know, just been kept hush hush. But to empty out a gun, that's causing attention to yourself. Police are going to respond, especially that being a white neighborhood.
Come
So
on.
I know they came so fast.
Well, I know they was there.
And
They pretty much, and let me tell you something. Them neighborhoods in Beverly Hills, LA looks really pretty, but LA, in my opinion, is one of the most dangerous cities in this whole country, if not the most dangerous city. The reason why them folks live in those mountains is for security, because they know, baby, there's one way in, one way out. What you're gonna do? Climb up the mountain to rob us and then carry our flat screen down the mountain? You got to understand that if there is any altercation in them mountains, them police pretty much sit and wait at the bottom for some shit to pop off. They up that mountain in a second, especially at the news of a firearm. Like, get the fuck out of here. I remember the first time I went to LA, I could not believe how many homeless people. I'm trying to go in the store. I got to step over a homeless body to get through the front door. I was like, what the fuck? They make Hollywood look so glamorous on TV. LA has a lot of issues going on. So you got to know how you have to move when you're out there in LA. So my thing is, here go a man who is not American. Him not being American is a factor here. Because I don't know if I have ever, or when the last time I heard about a group of niggas shooting off multiple times in the middle of Beverly fucking Hills. I don't believe that American black men would have done that. They would have already known, my nigga, let's just go ahead and keep this cool until we get from out of here, because we're not going to make it up out of here unscathed. So you got this man in a different country not respecting what it is here that put everybody else at risk.
yes, I definitely agree with all of the points that you're making. But in addition to that, I would also like to say that I was just very disappointed in Tory's father for the lack of accountability. I grew up with my father. I have a twin brother and a little brother. So I know how it looks for a father to be an actual father figure and a role model. Tory's father, he held no accountability towards his son. Tory's anger issues did not just start when he got famous. For him to want to fight other celebrities, put his hands on multiple people, and shoot a gun off in Beverly Hills, that's not just an anger issue that starts just so. That's not just something that starts. That's something that builds up to the point where you're now involving a weapon that is intended to take a life. That a gun isn't intended to break up a fight, end the fight. It's intended to take a life. So for his father not to have any accountability, especially in front of his grandson, we have 3 generations of black men in that family, all in one courtroom as a father and a son is being held accountable for his actions of being violent. Other than the bullet hitting Meg, that could have ricocheted in her body and killed her. I think a lot of people are speaking about the case, but they don't have all the facts or are not privy to just a lot of basic gun facts, like bullets can ricochet. What goes up must come down, which is why you don't just shoot bullets in the air like this is the Wild Wild West. I just think that his father didn't hold any accountability, especially his grandson. I don't know why they brought the child there. And I agree.
It was a sick manipulation tactic, and it really speaks to Tory's character that he is definitely a psychopath to where he is willing to sacrifice his own child to save his ass.
Yes, especially during, I don't know how old his son is, but he looks
that
young
boy looks
enough
about 5 years old.
Yeah, he's going developing and basically a sponge So him
Yeah.
seeing his father in that courtroom, a black man in a courtroom, and his grandfather is right there and his whole entire family, and his father is going to jail for who knows what amount of time, 2 days before Christmas. I hope he opened those presents. I hope he didn't think he was getting off scotch-free and, you know, at least tried to give his child somewhat of a Christmas and, you know, had a little small, oh, let's open like 2-3 gifts, you know, before this, because I'm pretty sure the child does not know what's happening. He's playing on people's emotions, that he's a great father figure, blah blah blah. I don't think that it's justified. Yes, it's his child, but it's not right to bring a child into an adult scenario. Like
Period.
growing up, I had the child's table and the adult table. You join the
Come
conversation.
on.
This an adult conversation. I'm only 22 years old, and
Come
I know
on.
this. So it's
And,
just
and
like,
and I like what you said with that, because you're right. This is a generational thing. When his father got out there hooting and hollering and said that it was Jay-Z fault, I about fell out my chair. I thought it was satire for a second. I honestly could not believe that this man actually got out here and blamed Jay-Z for Tory doing what he did and going to jail. What it tells me is the fact that him and his father, the fact that they think that this is okay and they think it's okay to expose his son to all of this, speaks to how Tory probably became a psychopath, because he probably had some traumatizing event happen to him when he was a kid and nobody ever was accountable for or got him help for it. And that's why he's a narcissistic sociopath, psychopath right now. So now you're putting that same, you know, generational dysfunction on your son, to where at this young age, you are making him experience this very jarring and traumatizing event. You did not shield him from that. So it speaks to how people like that are created, by these traumatic events at ages too young for their brains to fully process it yet. So now in Tory's efforts to get himself off as innocent, which was his goal from the jump, which is how he got fucked up in this. From the jump, he was determined, that ego, he was determined to have his judgment be not guilty. So in his dick was so hard for that not guilty verdict that in the middle of that, he was like, I'm going to bring my very impressionable son, who will probably need extensive therapy to recover from this. They said guilty, his whole family falling out, crying, acting a fool, and you're letting this little boy witness this. You are creating issues for him just like you have. So I look at the bigger picture here. When I look at Tory's character, that nigga just had August Alsina black and blue a few weeks ago. We're not going to sit here and act like this nigga is not a loose cannon and that men like him are not a liability. Every time they got a problem with somebody, they got to go square up. I saw that video of with him and August. I'm sorry, but it looked like August was just walking on past. It did not seem like that situation had to come to physicality. So this is a man who has no problem getting physical without it being called for. He's throwing his own son under the bus in order to try to save himself and permanently traumatizing his son. The trial hasn't even started yet, and he's on Twitter talking about, oh, I'm in this situation. What he got from all of this, after all of this happened, his response to that was, you know, I'm in this situation because, you know, my dick's so good. Look at his father. His father is not holding him accountable whatsoever. We're not going to sit here and act like we don't see this as the recipe of disaster for a fuck nigga. We're not going to sit here and say that, oh my God, we just are not going to believe that this nigga shot this gun, even though an eyewitness that is clearly rich in Beverly Hills at this next door neighbor. Now we believe that Tory Lanez paid the neighbor to lie on the stand and perjure themselves and say that he shot him when they didn't. Now we're all of a sudden saying that this statement that they made is all of a sudden irrelevant and the eyewitness does not suffice. Whatever. Now all of a sudden we're acting like the bodyguard and the driver disappeared because Tory's innocent. Okay. Whatever. Michael, you have something you want to add? Michael? Okay, guess not. Mr. Lawrence, you have something you want to add?
Hey, Six, thanks for letting me up again.
Hey.
So
Late night vamping.
yeah, you telling me. So I was just sitting in the panel after I was kind of done and just kind of listening and everything, and you're definitely right. We definitely do need to have a certain level of accountability as men. There's a certain level of responsibility. I think the onus is kind of on us to. I know this may sound a little this may sound a little extreme, but I think it's time for the black man to purge ourselves of this loyalty to streets that we don't own. I think it's time for us to take on new principles and a new lifestyle, because it's destroying us, and and in turn it's destroying our women. So one hand has to wash the other, right? So I think at this point, after seeing a lot of men getting locked up for this type of thing, seems like Young Thug is next on the list. I'm kind of sick and tired of being sick and tired of seeing my own black men kind of cause their own mayhem. The number one enemy to a black man is another black man. So I'm kind of seeing my own brothers, whether kind of create this type of situation where we could have prevented it, but instead loyalty to the streets made us do the complete opposite. These streets aren't loyal to no one, so why are you being loyal to something that will easily get you killed, get you maimed, or hurt an innocent bystander or a woman?
Yep. And the system, period. And the system. We know what this system is. We know that as a black man, you got to be smart. I'm not going to have this illegal, unregistered, throwaway firearm in the middle of motherfucking Beverly Hills and Calabasas with all these rich white folks at 2:00 in the morning with everybody drunk and high. I mean, I don't get why we're acting like, we have to acknowledge all aspects of this. We can't just say, Meg Thee Stallion a hoe and she ain't shit and she a liar. All those things may be true, but how are we going to progress if we don't look at both sides of it? I don't, it's not about victim blaming, but it's on Tory's behalf. It's like, my nigga, what did you expect? Literally nothing that he did, the reaction to it, nothing is surprising. You want to sit and you sleeping with this woman, but you whispering to this white woman trying to get with her. Now you surprised when the woman get mad, when she start getting bucked. You want to pull out a firearm in Calabasas, then you want to get mad when the police come. Like, come on, like there has to be accountability on both sides. This is not just, this is Megan's fault. You already know what them folk gonna do. Them folk put that nigga on trial with 7 women on a jury and 4 men. Be for real. You already know they're going to railroad you. You already know they're going to set you up.
And that's the thing. At this point, I don't even, I'm going to just say it. Fuck it. I think black men, I think we definitely need to change. Like and I don't mean change in terms of like, I feel like a lot of people, they've already kind of have it out for us to fail anyway. I feel like if we don't work extra hard to show that we can not only be good male leaders towards our families, protect our women, but I feel like at this point they're going to keep finding excuses to drive a wedge between our women, drive any belief or condemnation towards other races to ever believe or want to do business with us. If we can't take that onus on us to become better, then no one will ever give us a real fighting chance to really establish any real power. I think this is a perfect example of black men allowing other people to control how they present themselves and how they allow those situations to get them caught up, and then people outside of our race dictating our future. Like it's saddening. It's kind of sickening, because on both hands, both people are guilty, both people are wrong. But at the end of the day, you're a man. The onus is on you to be the person that is supposed to stand in the gap and be the hero, and you weren't the hero. As a matter of fact, you were the fool. And because you were the fool, you go. If you're the person that's looking over the well-being. At the end of the day, let's be real. You're the man. That means that you're supposed to be looking over the well-being of those women, no matter what, whether they were right, wrong, fussing, fighting, this, that, or that. The fact that you inserted yourself in that conversation, the fact that you inserted yourself in that fight, even if the intentions were good, you handled it wrong.
Yep.
And just because you handled it wrong is exactly why you're in this position. Now, I don't think you deserve to spend 20 some odd years in prison.
Yeah.
And I don't even think, I personally don't think he even really technically shot the gun. There's enough reasonable doubt to say it. But did your hands touch it? Yes. Okay, you're guilty for that. Did you potentially fire it? Yes. Okay, you're guilty for that. So at the end of the day, whether we know you shot it or not, whether we can confirm, she's hurt. No one cares no one cares, she's hurt. And at the end of the day, you're a black man. You're public enemy number one. Get him out of there. That's how it goes here.
Period.
That's how it goes.
Period. Let me ask you this. Do you think that if Tory was an American black man, do you think he would have been out there starting all that and doing all that?
Fuck no. Like let's just
thank you. Finally, somebody don't keep it real. Can we please keep it real? An American black man would not have did that shit, period.
I've been to Beverly Hills. I have family that lives in Beverly Hills. The first rule when I first got to, let's be real here. When I went to Beverly Hills my very first time, the very first thing I was told by my auntie, because she happens to know people and she does a lot of business up there because she owns her own surety program in California. She told me verbatim out of her mouth. She says, "Listen, whatever you do, when you are here, the very first thing you need to do is leave your blackness at the entrance.
All right.
Everything else that you do at this point is a representation of how they already perceive us. What you do at this moment, at this time, if you want to shake hands with these people, you need to act more like them than acting like the people that live in Compton or off of Sepulveda or near LA. You're here to do business with real professional individuals and people. If you're going to sit here and have these types of conversations, especially in Beverly Hills where there's nothing but rich power and rich money, they don't give a damn if you and your best friend shoot each other near Sepulveda or near LAX. No, they give a damn when there's a shooting that happens right there up the road, because at the end of the day, those are the people that have the power. You ain't got no power there. You're a visitor. You are a guest.
Come on. And them police out there do not play. Let me tell you something about LAPD. American black men already know the deal with LAPD. They already know the deal. You ain't even got to ask. If you say LAPD, we all know what that means. So again, when it comes to these Negroes coming here to America, trying to thinking it's the land of the free, the home of the brave, they gonna have to humble themselves and look at the way American black men conduct themselves and pay more attention to that. Half of the time, if you hear about a shooting in LA, somewhere in Compton or some shit like that, but Beverly Hills, Calabasas, like, come on, like niggas already know you pretty much are setting yourself up for guaranteed failure if you do that in the middle of goddamn Calabasas. I've been out to the mountains several times in big ass houses several times. I've been to parties out there. I've visited people's homes out there. The roads up there alone are designed where even if you try to get away and run, you can't go but a certain speed limit going up them roads. Your ass will literally roll. These are like mountains. They talking about Beverly Hills. These ain't no hills. Them some big ass hills then. You know what I'm saying? The area is not set up for ruckus. Those areas of LA are truly set up for, if you there, you belong there. You there because
you know what's funny about
there. Come on.
And you know what's funny about that is like another thing that's like almost an unwritten rule up there is that there's, whether people believe it or not, it's basically like there's a dress code there. Like if you walk in there looking like a thug, you are getting arrested.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, who are you? What do you want? They gotta, and everybody in those neighborhoods know each other. They know you, they know who your normal visitors are, they know who is not a familiar face. These are people with, y'all gotta understand, them big, see here in Atlanta, they could have them big houses like it's out there in Calabasas, and those houses here be $1 million, 1.5. what people got to understand is in these Calabasas and Beverly Hills and the mountains and shit, these are $10 million homes. You see what I'm saying? This isn't like where it's in Atlanta and people got a big house and it costs $1 million. No. A 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom shack in LA is $1 million. So we talking about big money. Those hills communities are set up that way for protection to those people. So you have to literally be borderline slow, autistic, or retarded, whatever you want to call it, to get your ass up there in them mountains discharging an illegal firearm. You are literally asking to go to jail. You might as well just knock on them people's door and say, go ahead, lock me up. And L Boogie, you're saying Black women better be careful coming down too hard on other Black women. You may find yourself in a situation similar. Then what? And you're absolutely right. We could find ourselves in a similar situation. That's why we're not finna go out here talking about we're going to sleep with the entire world and tell everybody to shut the fuck up and you can't tell us what to do. That's why we're going to respect the leadership of Black men, and we're not going to get our ass out here and say that we disown them and that we're disconnecting ourselves from him. We do know that we could end up in this situation, which is even more so why we're going to go ahead and remain women and stay on code. And we're not going to be in Beverly Hills drunk, fucking each other and our friends and shooting guns. So, I don't really get comments like this. I'm not about to sit here. It's even more the reason why I'm finna go in on that bitch. Because again, it'd be one thing if she just lived her life the way she wanted to, but she promotes the way she lived her life to other women and she don't even believe in it. And it's gotten her in negative situations. So it's actually the opposite. We should have our foot on hoes' neck like Megan, because that will discourage other women from coming forward with that same dumbass, capping ass rhetoric. Now she over there trying to kill herself because she got to talk about who she let in her body. I know you slow. Go ahead, Aphrodite.
Hi, I just joined in the middle, so I'm not really sure if what I'm about to say was covered already. But
no, go ahead, sis.
I was talking to 2 of my cousins about the situation, and I asked them how they felt about before it came out, like how they felt about whether or not Tory was innocent or guilty. And they were really passive. And they're like, well, I guess if he is guilty, then whatever. But then when I asked them about Megan, like they just went in and just started, well, that bitch, da da da. And if you don't know who shot you, you should have never said nothing and blah, blah, blah. And, and I told them like how I felt about the situation. Like, I don't care for Megan either. But I'm like, well, we can't just dismiss what Tory's done. And they're just telling me that I don't understand because I don't have a son. So I don't know if maybe, I'm looking at this from like biased eyes because, I do have a daughter and everything. But my cousins are just like, well, she don't understand. She don't got no son. And the system is doing this, that, and the third to Black men and blah, blah, blah. And
and that's why I would have taught my son that you probably should not be an immigrant in Calabasas at 1 a.m. drunk high discharging illegal firearms.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is a part of the problem, how we create irresponsible men, because they mama and daddy over there patting them on the ass saying, oh, them people shouldn't have been so mean to you, instead of being like, you don't do no dumbass shit. Like when I talk to my son, I literally talk to him like, hey, don't do nothing stupid. I don't sit and coddle and sugarcoat him. I be black and white with him. Hey, do not do this. Do not do that. Do not do this. Do not do that. I have told him several times, if you don't listen to this and you go do some dumb shit and you get locked up, do not call me. He already know. Mm-hmm. So my thing is, why is it the opposite thing where it's like, oh, we got sons, so we don't want to hold him accountable? It's even more so. We got sons, so you for sure need to hold Tory accountable so these boys can see that one night of that ego trip you went on about to cost you everything. I suggest you don't do that. If Tory would have got off unscathed for this, what kind of message would that send? I cannot stand women that do that. They have a son, so they want to coddle him. You cannot coddle a son when you're a woman. And it may be in your instinct to want to coddle them, but you are not helping your sons by coddling them. You need to let them know, sir, this is the deal. I tell my son all the time, you ain't got no second or third chances. You ain't got no benefit of the doubt. You don't have no sympathy. You don't got none of that shit. I suggest you know what it is and be careful of every single action you take as a Black man. Tory had several instances to get himself out of this and to prevent this from happening. The reality is he made his decisions, let him be a man and face the consequence. He could have did what Kelsey did and told them folks, you know what, I did shoot them. So I don't want to perjure myself and I don't want to testify and I'm willing to tell you who really did it, but give me immunity. Tory let his ego beat him. This is not the system beating him. This ain't the white man beating him. This is Tory self-sabotaging himself. I'm not about to go toe-to-toe with, well, the Black woman did. And the Black woman, if I know I'm Tory fucking Lanez, I am the biggest name here, the richest one here, the most to lose here, I am going to be the one to carry myself a certain way. And that's just what it is. So these women with sons that want to say that because they have a son, they don't want to hold Tory accountable is backwards. All you're going to do is create more dangerous men like Tory Lanez.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, you guys are raising the next generation of men. And, you know, when it comes to men treating you bad, you know, because these are my cousins, you cry and you say men are doing this, that, and the third to you and niggas ain't shit. But then when you're talking about something that may or may not happen to your own son, you're just like, oh no, blase blah. And I'm like, how do you, like, that doesn't seem fair to me.
I'm not going to sit and tell my son he's not wrong for putting himself in that situation. And that what should have happened is that the women there should have acted a certain way so that he didn't get in trouble. What I'm not going to do is say, my son is not the one that shouldn't have done this. Instead, the white man should not find him guilty. I'm not going to expect everybody around my son to spare him. I'm going to expect him to spare himself. Now, Chris, with this comment, you talk about he could not take a plea because he's Canadian. I don't know if that's the rule in California, but I know in Florida, they don't give a damn if you Haitian, Jamaican, Canadian. If you got the tea on who committed a crime and you willing to talk, they will grant you immunity or a lesser sentence or this, that, and the third. I don't know if in California, him being Canadian meant that he couldn't take the plea, or couldn't take a deal. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but I know in Florida, growing up, I used to see all the Haitians. Them Haitians would get cased up and they would fold on each other like laundry. They did not give a fuck because they was not American citizens. So I don't know. The point is, had he maybe positioned this as I did shoot her, but maybe tried to speak on how it happened or why it happened, he would have been good. But the fact that he just tried to go at this completely with a not guilty, knowing that he did fire and discharge that weapon, that was stupid. That was pure ego. That's just like men who I've seen men where they're being charged with rape. They already know that their DNA going to be inside that woman. They already know they really did it. So what they'll do is they'll try to say it was consensual. They'll say, oh, well, it was consensual. So my thing with Tory is, but they're not going to say, I never touched her, I never slept with her. If they know there is possible witnesses or this and the third, they slept with the woman. Instead, what they'll do is say, oh, I did sleep with her, but it was consensual. That would have been Tory's best bet in this instance. Say, I did shoot the gun, but I shot it because I was trying to take it from Kelsey or whatever story he could have made up. Okay, y'all saying why would he shoot her as though y'all don't know 5'2" niggas that have egos and anger problems. Every day we see a nigga pull a gun out because he lost a fight or because he got his feelings hurt. Right here in Gwinnett County 2 days ago, there was a nigga outside of a sports bar riding a bike that hit another man's car. And when the man came out and was like, yo, you hit my car, the man shot the man and killed him. Let's stop acting like all of a sudden we got to have a motive or a reason of why niggas pull out guns and start shooting.
Can I ask a question to you, Six?
Yeah, go ahead.
They don't know how to fight.
Well, yeah, a lot of niggas know how to fight these days. I don't know what the fuck's up with that. Like that's I was trained. Never mind. Continuing on. My question to you, Six. So I've been looking at a couple of the blogs and everything during this conversation, and I'm just kind of assessing kind of the whole feel on this. And you can see a lot of people in the comments are saying, protect Black women. These men are monsters. You got a couple other comments saying, lock these niggas up. They're a danger to society. You got a couple other comments say, systems trying to destroy Black men. Like, you can already see the division is already kind of happening. And it's like, how can we heal from this? How can we kind of maneuver? Like, do you have any ideas on how we could possibly help kind of reestablish a relationship with our Black women the same way, they would probably like to establish a relationship with our Black men. Like, it's like, you can already see the buildup is happening. And it's like, I see this kind of spilling over pretty hard in 2023. So it's just like, maybe I should figure I'd ask an opinion on that.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And I think there will always be, those Black women where they're just convinced that Black men are the devil and are their enemy. And honestly, there ain't nothing we can do about them. I've never acknowledged them to begin with, and I'm not going to acknowledge them now. I think that what we can do is realize how important it is for both sides to play their part. Okay, now we're seeing, it's important for women to, respect Black men and listen to Black men's counsel. So it shows us that when we go ahead and we act like women, stay in our lane, we don't be out here sleeping with the whole world in the street, starting drama, that avoids our men from having to come up here and diffuse a situation and put everybody at risk to help, find a solution. Then we can say on Tory's behalf, it shows the importance of Black men keeping their composure, not making emotional decisions, thinking about, I have something to lose. I'm not going to take this situation and lose everything because of it. That's what we can do. Is this situation can teach us, do you see how we all go down when we all refuse to play our role?
Yes, I do.
Them with any woman who be like, see, lock these niggas up. I see any women who instead they'll say these niggas instead of being like, I'm glad that Tory Lanez is going to jail. I'm glad that anybody who does the same thing that Tory Lanez doing is going to jail. That's one thing. But when the women are like, lock these niggas up, good, the Black men the problem. I mean, women like that, we typically don't even have on our radar anyway. Michael, you had something you wanted to add? I was trying to get you in earlier, but it wouldn't connect.
Sorry, there's a snowstorm in Houston and my power went off. How you doing today?
Oh, shoot. Y'all lost power?
Yep. Well, I did.
Oh, my God. Do you have a generator?
Yes, I do. I have to start it up.
Woo, thank God, cause boy, it's an icicle.
Oh yes.
You was gonna be an icicle. You got something you wanna add?
Yes, I actually have a question.
What's going on?
I wanted to ask, do you think that this is gonna hurt Megan's brand, especially since we live in this believe all women type of world nowadays, especially since that case happened in California, which is one of the most liberal states in the US?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to affect her career for a little bit, but I also know that people got short-term memory. You know what I'm saying? So I think that, yeah, for a while it may affect her and her numbers may go down, but I feel like that as time progresses and people get over it and they begin to forget about it, I think she'll, I think that she'll get, kind of, somewhat of a buzz again at some point, but I think it won't be the same as it was before.
And do you think that Tory will be able to appeal this a year from now? Because, although there's some evidence that is clear, there's also some other things that isn't completely clear. So I think that he might have a case to appeal, but I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know.
Yeah. And again, I don't know either. I mean, I believe in get what you can get. If he can appeal it and it can, change his status or lower his sentence or whatever it is, then, so be it. I can't really argue with the way that goes. And like you said, we're not lawyers, so we don't know. But I mean, if he appeal it, I'm on the side of, I think they all ain't shit. I think that they all put themselves in this situation. So I'm at the place where it's like, hey, what happens, happens.
Yeah.
I don't feel that there's necessarily a right or wrong here. I think this whole thing escalated. The whole thing could have been avoided. And this is grown people that's going to have to take accountability for what they did.
Yeah, I completely agree. And as far as what you said earlier, whenever you asked if it was an American, would he have done that? I think so, because at the end of the day, I think it depends on the type of guy it is, because at the end of the day, if he's, a ratchet ass niggas gonna do what ratchet ass niggas do. Like I could see Chief Keef doing some shit like that. I could see some Lil Zay, little whatever the fuck doing something like that also, So I think it doesn't I think it's not about if they're American. I just think it's about the man and what kind of person he is.
Are you American?
Yes.
So you don't think that American black men know the deal about LAPD? And you don't think that American black men would say, hey, I'm in the middle of the Beverly Hills, I'm in the middle of goddamn Calabasas with one way in and one way out. I probably shouldn't discharge this firearm 5 times.
Well, again, it depends on the type of man, because I'm not a ratchet ass nigga, but if I was some dude with face tats and my pants past the knees and I'm in the part of a gang, I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, but we're in Calabasas, so that doesn't apply here because they wouldn't even be able to get in.
Well, Tory is ratchet.
Yeah, Tory is ratchet, but at the same time, he is connected with certain people where he got the money and status to be there. But a broke Pookie and Ray Ray, if you understand the way these neighborhoods are set up, they wouldn't even be there. Like Buddy just said, they'll be arrested before they can even make a move. You know what I'm saying? So I'm talking about a black man with any kind of sense and status that's able to even be in that neighborhood. Like, come on now, they would have already known you can't do that.
You gotta look presentable before you even walk in the fucking front door, though.
Yeah.
Unless you know someone that can get you in.
Even if you know someone that's there, you still got to get a voucher of 2 or 3 other people that live in that neighborhood before they still let that shit slide.
And once you do get in there, you definitely not about to be discharging no firearm multiple times.
Yeah, that is true.
You know what I'm saying? You definitely not doing that. Like, if we don't hold both sides accountable on this, we don't get nothing from this. At the end of the day, we need to figure out, okay, what can we learn from this so we can avoid situations like that? That's my MO. Let's avoid getting on them folk radar. Let's avoid being in them folk courtroom. Let's avoid them police. Let's just avoid it. So whatever we got to do to avoid it, we need to do. If this is just a situation where you trying to instigate a fight between a bunch of women, that's not worth us all dying and going to jail over. Stop that. Leave that bullshit at home. When you know we're in an environment where we got a lot to lose and a lot to go on, I'm sorry. Everybody know how to act accordingly and do what need to be done.
Yeah. And my last question, I wanted to ask, because I found this interesting. How do you feel about whenever Party said that he kind of feels embarrassed whenever they were talking about all of Megan's past, people that she fucked in the past and stuff like that? Because I was like, wait a minute, you knew what you got yourself into. This is like your fault. You knew that you was gonna make a thought your girlfriend. So how are you so surprised about this?
Yeah, stop it. We all know that's an arranged relationship.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I'm like, it give cap to me. I honestly think that Party is an up-and-coming producer and artist, and he's like, okay, I'm just so happy to have my name attached to one of the most relevant names in rap right now, so he can get his name out there, because half of the time, if he wasn't with Megan, we wouldn't be talking about him. So I think that's why he's there. That's why you see he ain't married her yet. He ain't got her pregnant yet. He ain't bought her no ring yet. That nigga trying to put his name out there, get what he can get and go. That's why he don't care. That nigga don't give a damn about that shit.
Yeah, I always thought there was something off about him whenever I saw that feminist tattoo on his stomach or on his back.
Yeah, he trying to come up, and he's like, okay, how can I come up? Everybody know the biggest ducks and the most gullible people are Black women. Everybody know that. When you want to figure out who you can go to tell them what they want to hear, to get their money and get their support, is Black women. So that's all Party is doing. He trying to sit and kiss the women's ass because he feel like he trying to pull a Drake move by getting the women on board as your fans as opposed to the men. I don't buy that shit from Party for a second.
Like, didn't they meet at a Rock Nation party? Like, and you know, whenever you meet somebody at a Rock Nation party, that shit might as well be an arranged marriage.
Yeah,
that's how the majority of these artists somehow get in a relationship. They're at a Rock Nation party or in Atlanta, or it's like or an Atlantic Records showcase event. Same story every fucking time. That's how Offset and Cardi B met. It's the same shit every time without fail.
That's why I'm not buying it.
So, but anyways, thank you, Six, for your time. I greatly appreciate you letting me on.
You're welcome, my brother. You have a good night.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. You guys be safe.
You're welcome. Yeah, I think that we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna end this here because y'all, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I think this was a good talk. My goal here was to have an objective talk here, kind of play devil's advocate here, get both sides, call a spade the spade. I don't give a fuck if this make you mad. I don't give a fuck if you feel like, oh my God, Sixthegoddis, I don't know about you anymore. Well, if you don't know, let me go ahead and help you out now. Just go ahead and leave now, because I'm always going to be objective in these conversations. I'm always going to be non-biased. I don't know why y'all get confused thinking I'm finna just take your side because you the man, or I'm gonna take her side because she the woman. I'm taking the side of what's right and what's wrong is wrong. And as someone who has had a weapon pulled on them before, been at a event where dumbasses start fighting, disregarding everybody's life present, I'm sorry, but I look at this situation different. I don't give a fuck about, Tory was trying to do, man, you discharged that weapon, you could have killed us all, the end. So y'all, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'm about to eat my soup and go to bed. I'm tired. Peace.